everybody. Welcome to another Hobby Hump. We have a couple of special guests joining us, and I see that I just got a fellow misfit here. Don, how
Hey,
are you?
brother. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this. Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, well, I was going to kind of not get on a bunch of these, but I saw the ratings were a little low, and I said I gotta help my boys out.
You gotta beef them up.
That's it.
All right, I have a special guest waiting in the back room. Somebody you all know, somebody you all probably subscribe to. So without further ado, hey, Greg.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Greg.
As a kid, they had like take your son to work day. It's like this is take Greg to Misfits Day. So I'm
You're
excited.
you're like a misfit. Oh, here's
Definitely.
another like a misfit. Double D.
You.
Oh,
Hey, Don.
hi,
Greg,
Dylan.
John.
How are you?
Very good. Good to see you guys.
Same here.
Dylan, are you? Do you have enough energy to do this live tonight?
Dude, I just got out of the water. I'm jamming. I did make a little drink. So, yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, good.
Got my cheaters
Good.
nearby. So, yeah,
Gotta have those.
you know it.
So, Greg, I'm curious. You get all these questions, and you always answer them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have the patience of Job with some of those questions, and no matter how I don't know, ridiculous some people might find them, you still answer them, man. You go out of your way. I got to give you props. But has there been a question recently that really stood out to you?
Well, it's funny you say that. I read a question today that I'm not going to answer, and there's only been 2 questions I've ever not answered, and it's anything that starts to wade into the politics world because. Politics, religion, like I respect what you're doing over there. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. It's just I'm here to talk about cards, and I love cards. So let's just focus on that. And
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot
why
of peripheral. Yeah,
we get on here to get away from that crap, man.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. That's exactly right.
But
So
we have our own politics.
yeah, I mean we got the president here, right? We got the I don't know, defense secretary, whatever y'all are. So yeah, that one stood out recently, and I was like, I don't think I want to talk about that one. Um, a lot of people ask about values, and I try not to get into values, but I do understand that for a lot of people, they watch, MSNBC midday or CNBC or whatever it is to see like people's stock picks and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not a card pick. I buy stuff I like, and it doesn't mean it's going to go up. And so, I would say those are the only ones that stand out in that sort of way. Yeah.
I don't get anybody asking me what they should buy. Do you, Dylan?
No, but I love talking about that stuff. Like this is the one safe place because we're not talking about stocks. I hate talking about stocks with people. I don't want to get talked in or out of anything, real investments. But cards, since I'm keeping them, they're investments, but they're treasured, and you can buy them. And I never ever look to see what the value is after the day I buy it. I never ever go back.
I agree with you, Dylan.
I don't keep track.
I don't either.
But I love when cards go up, and I like talking about which ones I think are going to go up. I actually have in my notes, like I scroll up ideas for shows, and it's a pump and dump. Like I want to pump some cards up and talk about ones I think are going up in value. So I have no problem expressing my opinions about that. And John, I love that you asked Greg about his questions he gets, because I was going to bring up one of his questions. Like I love those type of I love hearing him talk about them. It's crazy.
Well,
what up, Rob?
Go. Hey, what's up, Lou?
Hey, Lou.
What's up, beautiful people?
Yeah, boys.
So, Dylan, go ahead, bring it up.
Which question was it? One from today?
Oh, yeah. I thought a really good question that we could talk about was our optimal grade per era. I thought that was Andrew asked, and Andrew's probably in the chat. And you made it so not complicated. You go so deep in where my first answer was PSA 5s for all 1960s, 1970s, and 60s and below.
You're not going to call it collector's grade, are you?
No, heck no. No,
I'm going to have to put you backstage.
Get out of here.
I go above collector's grade. I don't do like collector's grade stuff.
I get the grade I can afford.
But Dylan, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Dylan, because there are 7s and 8s that you wouldn't want in your collection.
No.
So
no,
as soon as you start, you want a 5 that is centered with good corners and good color and good registration. So that's not really a 5. A 5 is just it's a technical grade. It's not an actual what the quality of the card is. So I don't believe you.
It's simple because when I say a 5, everyone knows who watches me and knows me. When I say a 5, I'm talking about a dead centered, perfect registration, all that jazz, some little fuzzy corners or whatever. If I have an Optimus Prime grade, so to speak, it's going to be a 5 because of the standards that they put on 5s. I know when I get that card in hand, there's not going to be a crease in it. And for me, my Topps cards, I really don't want creases. Everything past that, I can accept creases, but Topps, I don't want any creases on my cards. So for me, if I find the prime example, I would choose a 5 because the price is perfect. They haven't jumped to the moon. They're probably the same price as that was like 8s were like 5 years ago. And when you find a perfect specimen, it's worth the price of an 8 technically back then. Not now. I'm not going to pay $2,000 for a $500 card, but that's how I would have answered that question. Is there is an optimal number when you're buying them not in the flesh. When you're buying them online like me, because a 5, I've never had a 5 in hand. Now, I know there's guys that have had 5s that have wrinkles and creases, but in the grading standards, they're not supposed to from either company. So for me, when I get a 5, I have all confidence that there's no creases and wrinkles. That's for me a 5. A buttery 5 is like, that is a perfect gem in 10. So that's how I would answer that, right? So I do have an optimal number.
Look at this 5. This is probably too off-centered for you, Dylan, but for me, you can see it's a 5. I think it's centered on that
complicated answer.
Yeah, gotta go deep on the answers. That one.
I didn't think we were going to get to talk once Dylan started. It's like, well, I'll just sit back and pull a Scott Reindeer Studios.
Do you have an optimum grade, Lou?
Yeah, the one that fits my budget. I mean, honestly, I'll set, for instance, the Dolby. I wanted to be around 1K, 1100 at the top of it. And I just kept on looking. You could filter your eBay searches. And I kind of figured it was going to be between a 2 and a 3 for that range. And the things that kill a card for me are creases.
I agree.
And especially across the face. I know there's, some wrinkles don't break the color, don't break through the card, but creases just kill it for me, especially on those old vintage cards. Yeah, exactly. Because I was going to say most vintage cards are like portraits. They're like portraits. So, when a crease is going through a card on an old school vintage card, it destroys everything. And a big thing for me is registration. And that goes part of it. Paper loss is a big one for me, especially on the front. I don't like tape marks on the front. So anything that detracts the color, the registration is a killer for me. So I don't look so much as the grade. Like it has to be a 4, it has to be a 5. My budget determines the grade, honestly, because if I could go out there and get SGC 5 Jackie or PSA 5 Jackie, I'm probably going to find a nice one. But do I want to pay 10 G's for it?
So, Dylan, you said color's really important to you, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want this card right here.
Well, that thing's sick. I'll take that one off your hands any day. Black and white
It's
cards
a 5.
are hit or miss. Black and white cards are hit or miss for me.
Because of YouTube, people have gotten so picky about everything.
Yeah.
I was on a
for
Facebook,
sure.
100%.
I was in a Facebook group, and there was a discussion on what was Joe DiMaggio's rookie card. And I chimed in. I said, like, I'm in the, 37 or 36 worldwide gum camp myself. And other people agreed. And he said that that's not a card. And I'm like, so out of curiosity, I need to know why do you not think that's a card? Oh, because I don't collect black and white cards.
Are you serious?
And I'm like, well, that's
That's been
quite
an
different than it's not a card. Like, just because you don't want to collect it doesn't mean it's not a card.
Yeah.
But this is like people today in the hobby are so opinionated and picky about everything.
Yeah.
I'm the outcast here. I don't mind a little surface wrinkle here or there. I mean, I don't want it like through his face and bent in half, but a little crease here and there doesn't bother me, especially if I can't see it.
But you're not going to buy a 70s card like that, John, right? You're talking like maybe a post-war or rare card or...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would depend on the card.
Yeah, you got to narrow it down within a decade. That's the whole point.
But I mean, I'm not going to throw them away because they have a little something.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, I have upgraded cards from, that I had for years, and I missed something on it, or our tastes change. But I don't think I'm as picky as everybody else on YouTube when it comes to being very particular about what sets I collect and that kind of thing. I love black and white cards. I love all cards because they're part of card history. I want to have them all. I want to have all the sets.
Well, 100%. I think, with every rule, there's exceptions. I mean, you telling me a 39 play ball Joey D, a card that's on my want list, if there's a wrinkle on the front, especially if it's just on the card, not honestly, through the face, it really does kill it for me. But, if the price is right, I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to say.
I mean, price is always a factor, right?
Yeah. And with certain cards, obviously the goats of the game, they've gotten to a point where it's so crazy that you're gonna have to, a pinhole is not gonna deter me now. Mookie has changed me on that because there's some beautiful cards with a pinhole, and it does go with the story because that's how kids back in the day. Yeah,
honestly, pinholes weren't that big of a deal before. But it's all about the number now, and they're gonna get a 1, and nobody wants a 1 on their cards.
Yeah, I don't know where
I don't agree they should get a 1 just because they have a tiny little pinhole.
Yeah,
the rest of the card is perfect. 100. I don't agree. But I didn't make up the rules.
Right.
Wait, Lou Rock, you changed your opinion on pinholes because you were pretty adamant.
Yeah, because I've seen some, especially at going to the National and stuff like that. Some of these cards from the 30s and 40s that, normally I won't be able to afford. The card looks beautiful, and you start like, why the heck is this card a 1, or why is it an authentic, or why is it this price? And you look, and now that I need readers, you look, I'm like, oh, there's a pinhole, and a pinhole really does not detract a card for me anymore because I really have to look for it now. I mean, a wrinkle and paper loss ruins it for me more now than a pinhole.
Well, like these cards, for example, this is a 2. That's a high grade for this because most of these backs on these Venezuela cards
were glued in there.
Yeah.
Which one's that, Don? Let me see the front. Yeah. Is that your man?
Yes. That's
Is he kneeling?
Kneeling with the triple bat.
No, he's squatting, taking a dump.
What's your stance on squatting? We know you like kneelers. Do you like squatters?
I like them all. I got 3 squatters that are all in college right now.
I got one of those. I'm gonna have 2 in a little bit.
Hey, Greg, I've got a question for you. My partner on two guys, one hobby. How much are you paying him to make a video for every question you ask?
Every week.
I think. Here's what I think. I think it's similar to a VR. I like John. I've met him the National. I know. I met him at the Strongsville. I met him at the National. I know you guys all bust each other's balls, especially when you have a thing you do together. But he, no, I think it's cool to hear his long version instead of just a tight version.
Right.
When I ask stuff like that, I usually don't really have strong opinions, and I love hearing what other people think. That's why I love doing those so much. But
hold on, I have to chime in here.
I think
nobody's throwing shade to anybody. You should do what you want to do. Who's throwing shade? I just got to chime in here. This YouTube thing's getting like, if you share your opinion and somebody, I don't know, I seem to be triggering people a lot lately. I'm getting tired of it. You don't have to listen to me, or we all have opinions. I hear all these people doing rants about people doing opinions, but their rant is them giving their opinion about other opinions. It's like, aren't you doing the same thing? Everybody on YouTube gives their opinions. That's what we do, and it would be boring if we didn't.
How boring would it be? Here's a card. Here's a card. Here's a card. Dude.
Yeah, that's what my whole channel is, Dylan.
What?
That's my whole channel, man.
I mean,
you tell
of us who cards already have the smallest, subscribers. Nobody wants to see cards. All the big channels don't show cards.
I think you're right, John, and I think that you go on, look at like TV. I mean, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, Mike and the Mad Dog. Anybody you listen to, like, the whole thing is opinion based about something that we all like. That's the fun of it. And then people call in and they say, "No, you're an idiot because of this," or "Yeah, I agree with you because of that," and that's fun. And it's just the same thing about cards. So then when people go off and they're like offended, like they're like actually offended because you gave an opinion that they didn't agree with, it's just like, what's the big deal? It's just an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't even comment. Like, I watch it, I move on. If I don't like what's being said or I don't agree with it, there's lots I agree with and lots I don't agree with. There's lots everybody agrees with and doesn't agree with. It's just the nature of the beast. But I don't think we should all just never ever voice an opinion because we're afraid we might offend somebody. It's just an opinion. This isn't politics or religion.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key. That's the key words right there.
No, but it's turned into being that. I've heard a lot of people doing rants lately, and they're geared toward other channels. And it's like, if you hate those channels that bad, why are you even watching?
It's a great question.
I say that to you all the time in the text, man.
the text is a safe place because that text thread is fire. That can't be disclosed. People are that's how you say it. That's part of my cardboard therapy. That's where I vent. Because we tell jokes, and Dylan knows, being in the house, we could get on each other pretty good.
Yeah. Well, before it was just me and Greg in the lobby, and I brought up to him, I said, what would be a good topic is all the tension in this hobby on YouTube right now, because all these videos I'm seeing, it's this modern versus vintage. I don't even know where that one came from. Most of us collect both. And all the PSA talk because they changed their standards. And I don't know. Are we not supposed to talk about these things? Like, you're not supposed to talk about people making pedophilia comments or PSA changing their standards or the theft that happens. I don't know. Are you just not supposed to talk about it?
I honestly, I don't know where the modern versus vintage came from, because I like baseball cards. You saw some of the pickups I had. Here's some 70s and 50s cards, along with 96 SPX.
I love those.
I know you've been to my house. You saw all the modern I have. I don't understand where that came from either, but they seem to lump me in with like this group of vintage collectors. They're like, you vintage collectors, you're arrogant, you're this, you're that. I'm like, I collect modern too. What are you talking about? I've never talked badly about modern cards. I think maybe it stems from the fact that we joke around that they make 5,000 rookie cards today.
Yeah.
But we're just joking around. That's reality. That's fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
Yeah. The 1 of 1's not even a 1 of 1 no more. You know, another joke we do. There's 21 of 1's in a product.
Yeah, or there's 2,000 1 of 1's of a rookie, you know. But that's not making fun of modern. It's just kind of making fun of the card manufacturers.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
What's this?
Oh boy. Well, as far as the modern versus vintage, I brought that up a couple weeks ago, and I had a lot of people not thrilled with me bringing that up. And I wasn't saying that to create division. I was saying that because I didn't understand why there were times that people bash on the other. And I don't understand why a modern collector would say, you're a moron if you collect guys that aren't relevant anymore because they're old and they all died and you never watched it play. I mean, I get comments all the time. Why would you collect a guy you never even saw play?
Right.
Oh,
Like,
I
to
That's
me,
the dumbest thing.
That's like an aggressive comment. And it's like, why do we feel like we got to get aggressive with that? I just bought a 1 of 1 card the other day, and it's a 1 of 1 card that there's about 5 people on the planet that would want, and I'm pumped to have it. And so, I've been buying this month. I've probably bought 5 modern cards. And so I was certainly not saying that there should be tension. I was kind of saying, why does it sometimes feel like people get aggressive toward the other? That doesn't make sense to me.
That's a perfect example. There are some people who don't want to collect any player they didn't watch. And that's fine. That's the way you do it. But you don't have to go at people who do collect players they didn't.
Yeah.
How about guys?
That's where the problem comes in. I didn't even watch baseball for like 10 years and I collected baseball cards. Like there's a lot of people out there that don't even watch sports. They just collect the cards. Like, yeah.
Who's the guy who did the whole catalog, the biggest collector in the whole world? He didn't even care about the guys on the cards. All he cared about was the cards himself. The guy who made the museum, name's eluding me. Tito Sixes did the whole
Lionel Carter?
No, is it
Jefferson Burdick?
Jefferson Burdick. One of those guys, he didn't even care about the players. He didn't even care about any of that. He just truly loved collecting. He loved the cards. There's no problem with that either. Greg, first and foremost, you never come across as like a negative. I've never heard a single video where you put your opinion out there like I put my opinion out there. Like I'm straight up like your collection sucks. My collection is better.
I've gotten frustrated with some of the big companies and some of the lack of customer service, because to me that puts a bad taste in people's mouth and in collectors' mouths, and then that could negatively affect the hobby. And I don't want people to have negative experiences, because then they might leave the hobby, and I don't want that. I want us to have as many good experiences as possible. So I have spoken up a little bit about that. I've never spoken negatively about what other people collect, though. But
don't you find that if you say what you like to collect, that people and people that they don't agree with you or they don't do what you do, view it almost as you're coming at them. Yeah. Like that's what I find. I'm not telling you what to do when I give my opinion or how I do things. I care less. The last thing I care on this planet is what somebody else does with their money, how they collect. That's the last thing on this planet that I care about.
We defend our own collections. We do.
Sometimes I could see that you feel the need to, because of other people scrutinizing certain things. Like, for instance, I just showed beautiful cards, vintage cards, high-end cards, if you want to call them that. And somebody said, you should upgrade those. And I'm like, what do you mean by upgrade? You mean a number? Because they're all beautiful looking, centered, like beautiful cards. And I'm like, I don't consider numbers an upgrade, but thanks for your comment. But he engaged me a little bit. He thinks that I should upgrade all my cards and get higher numbers on them so that I can leave them to my family and they'll be worth more. And I'm like, why do you care about what I do, what cards I buy? But I didn't, we didn't get into a fight or anything. I engaged him because I'm curious what makes somebody like want to tell me that. And I wanted to also point out to him that the cards that I have and that I showed are now 40% more. So I have to go out and buy them for 40% more. Right. And then the market turns down and I'm leaving my family less, but that's irrelevant because I'm not going to upgrade them because I love them. I hand selected them. They look beautiful to me. Dylan just showed a 1952 Hank Bauer in a 7. It was sharp, off center. He hated it. It had a surface mark on it, off centered, and he bought himself a centered 3. He hated that 7. That is not an upgrade. Just because PSA puts a higher number on it doesn't mean it's an upgrade.
Right. Well, Adam's perfect example. Adam, who sold his 10 of his 86 Fleer Bird and upgraded to a 7.
Yeah.
And stuck a ton of money in his pocket.
If those 2 photos don't blow everyone's mind,
oh, I know,
you're literally buying blind. You have blinders on, and you're doing what I did back in the day, buying off the pit. You didn't even look at the card.
But if somebody does do it that way, Dylan, you're not insulting them.
I did it that way. I did it for like 10, 15 years. I bought blind on the pit because you could buy 7.
I used to be drawn to certain numbers, thinking, and then I go back and look at my cards, and I have all these 7s that look like shit. And some 8s too.
I did.
And I was like, I'm not buying the numbers anymore. These look like crap.
Yeah. In a way, I do admire you, Dylan, that you're almost recollecting what you already collected, if it makes sense. Because me, I'd be like, I already have the cards. I'm looking for others. Like I'm not rebuying, a well-centered 5 because my 7 looks like crap. I already have a 7. Let me go get something else. Like try to acquire something new. So
it was scary. It was really scary because I sold.
Yeah. Right, Melissa.
I sold over 600 graded vintage cards in the last 3 years.
This is awesome.
All 7s and 8s, and it's like that's crazy. And then Don, I know you're gonna like at some point recollect a lot of those cards that you sold.
Right.
Sure. And it's scary to let those go, right, Don? Like. It took a long time to collect those, and they mean something.
No doubt.
I know it's like I have cards. There's like 3 of them. Oh yeah, let me just go get a bigger number. Yeah, let me just go find another one. It's absurd.
The other thing I want to say, John, is
because you want me to, not because I want to.
One of my favorite things to do is a lot of the channels that I watch the most are people that don't collect like me, because then I can hear their perspective. And so I don't look at somebody like the Hype Hop Professor, Brian. He's got a great channel, and he collects Greg Maddux, new Greg Maddux, like 90s and 2000s refractors. It's awesome. And hearing his passion for it and hearing him talk about the different ones, I'm learning, but I'm also getting like interested in it. I'm like, I want to look up the Clemens from that year, and I want to look up the Jeter from that year. And I start getting fired up for that. If I just listen to people who had the same opinion as me and collect like I like, and I have for years, then I'm not going to change. I mean, Dylan, one of my favorite Dylan arguments is when he says, what's really rare is not the pop count, it's perfectly centered. Perfectly centered is the rarest thing. It's not a card that is, in an 8 from 1950. It's a perfectly centered card from 1950. And I'm like, that's a really good point. Like, I really think that is rare. So instead of collecting grade rarity, you're collecting centering rarity, which I think has a lot of potential to it. So hearing other people's outside the box or outside of my box opinion, I don't get offended. It doesn't create tension. It's fun for me.
Yeah, I find that I do watch people that collect like me, but it's not the cards, it's not the sets, it's their attitude, their passion. I enjoy, I don't like drama on channels. I don't watch any of it. I just watch guys that are just, I think, good people who enjoy their cards, no matter what those cards are. And I feel I collect the same way, always have. you know, like for me, just even I'm going to Strongsville. I probably won't buy one card, but I'm going to see all these guys because they're like me in the way they collect and their principles of collecting, you know, and
I think we're all drawn to people who are like us.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I like to watch for the education to learn about new cards I might want.
Right.
And, you know, if somebody's showing things that I don't do, like I don't TTM. So I'll watch, but I'm not getting much of an education for my own collection because I don't do that.
But you enjoy their
when
passion and
how
involved they are in it.
But I'm saying, like, for the people that collect, like I collect, like value vintage cards or Blue Jacket 66, I learn a lot, and I might see cards I want to target, or learn something about a set I collect that I didn't know before. You know, watching Stoop. It doesn't mean I don't watch the other things. It's just we're drawn to those things that you know, we're passionate about.
Hey, Dylan, I think this is the longest I've ever watched you on YouTube.
I know. Me and Don, I know, dude, I'm so different than you, Don. We're so different. And I knew I have too much energy for you. But when we hung out in the flesh, we were like, it was like a perfect,
you don't have too much energy for me.
Oh, thank God. George is here to bring some sanity to this conversation.
The high grade king, he's here.
I was feeling so uncentered, Dylan, and then I saw you. And I found my place.
George was doing centering before it was cool.
Yes, he was.
Like country. I was doing country before country was cool.
Don, this is definitely like a huge, giant pride and joy in my collection.
Yeah, send that back to me.
Dude, I mean, to have an example, this is like the nicest 57 Ted Williams I've ever seen. In any, I mean, I guess I haven't seen 9s and 10s, but this thing is spectacular. And I'll never forget when I bought this from you. And that night we were all drinking at the house at the table, and there's like cards everywhere.
Right.
And I was like half blind.
Somebody, so you guys know how many cards I have, right? You can probably see behind me.
Yeah.
So you know I'm a large collection kind of guy. Like I want to have lots of cool cards. Yeah. Somebody was coming at me one day telling me I should only have 20 of highest graded cards. 20 of the highest graded cards. And I'm thinking to myself, I actually got nauseous in my stomach thinking of only being able to have 20 cards.
Insane.
I was a little nauseous just at the thought.
Yeah,
it goes back to what I was saying. I don't know why people want to tell you how you should do things.
Oh, by the way, John, this is Joe DiMaggio's rookie card.
Are you sending that to me?
You got it. And Lou, this one's for you, buddy.
Oh, nice.
The trade in the jacuzzi.
When I showed you the Willie.
I showed you my Willie, you mean?
It's a very well-centered Willie.
I saw more of Dylan than I wanted to by that hot tub, but I'll just leave it at that.
George, what's going on?
Well, can you blow me up real quick?
Oh, he's got some fire.
No, it's funny fire.
Oh, okay. I know.
Oh, well, okay. That's related.
I don't have my glasses on. You
Greg?
Similar.
Yes.
Greg, welcome aboard.
I love it.
That's sick.
I got that card.
That's
the error. Ooh, he's got the error.
I had to go grab it from my garage to welcome you aboard.
Hold on, I'm gonna get mine.
What makes that an error? Tell me.
On the back is with
it spelled
Craig.
his name wrong.
Oh, shut up. Let me see it again.
It's Greg.
Okay.
And then on the back, it's Craig.
Oh, that's the best, because that's exactly what happens.
And I can't tell the difference.
Oh, that's so good.
There's mine. Oh, wait, I'm not on the screen.
George, do you have the Munson? That's the one.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll show you guys this real quick. This is funny.
Yeah, man, Ginny's pointing out all these things with the card. I'm like, bro, you missed the most obvious one because the guy did it so perfect.
Yeah, this was a card that I don't have. I just traded for it at a show. And this is the beautiful Thurman 71 Thurman Munson.
Ooh.
Now it's an X5 MK. And I didn't even look at the other side. I thought it was this print line right here along the Yankees, but that would be a print defect to PD. Mike Petty, how you doing? So anyway, this you can look at the back and tell me. I showed it to the Misfit guys. What's the error?
Where's the error?
A mustache.
There you go.
It's a really well-drawn mustache.
That's amazing. That's freaking awesome.
This is a PC card. It's staying in the PC.
Heck yeah.
You got to display it.
Sammy, what am I doing wrong, man? All right.
Hey, I'm just gonna run the show.
Oh, there we go.
Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you, George.
George
I got-
to be on solo.
I got mine
Yes.
with the forward and backwards, so you can see the error one.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Perfect.
81 Fleer and 81 Donruss are just great sets. I think there's so many screw ups and miscuts.
Oh, 81.
They were just throwing stuff at the wall on those sets. They're like, they couldn't even spell Ferdinando right or fill him in the whole way on the Fleer card, right? It's just Fernand Valenzuela.
First, they rushed everything. Let's be the first ones out.
All right, let's go around. Let's see. Dylan, how many cards you have in your collection?
Well, I'm gonna just go with my graded cards because I literally just finished my inventory for the year for taxes, pulled out all my sold ones. I have 1,150 to 60 graded cards.
Well, how many total cards?
Well,
You have more cards now in your own slabs in the Mag Pros.
I have 3. So out of those 2, you got to count. There's 350 that are my graded cards. I've done 350 the last 2 years. I don't really, the other ones, I probably have another 1,000, but then I obviously have 5,000 count boxes everywhere, but I just don't even include those in my collection.
Probably just estimating.
Okay, 50,000.
50,000.
50,000.
George. Nobody's ever asked this question.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I've never heard anybody ask anybody this.
I'm going to be real frank. Like we buy collections, and I get massive amounts of cards, and then we sell the commons to a guy named the Common Card Guy, and he buys them for repackers. So it's like we'll sell him 300,000 commons, or what we perceive to be commons, at a time, and he pays us a little bit of money. I can go to like 2 Chinese buffets. Anyway, so it's. I mean, I don't know, graded cards, I probably have about the same amount as Dylan, probably about 1,000 or so. It fluctuates, goes down and up. Ungraded cards, I have stacks of ungraded cards that I really love, like we all do. Whether it's a 1981 Walter Payton, or it's an 84 Don Mattingly, or it's a 76 Thurman Munson. So
No, I didn't know you had them.
That doesn't really answer your question, but I'm kind of.
I'm just asking for a number, man. I'm not asking. For
number. Okay, I would probably say I'd probably say about 25,000 cards. Dylan has me beat.
Just tell me what time it is. Don't tell me how to make the watch.
You gotta narrow it down because collection is different than accumulation.
You guys are only talking graded cards.
No,
So
there's
well,
accumulation and there's collections, and I have an accumulation of 40, 50, whatever, 49,000 cards, and I have 1,000 that are in my.
Real quick, I just would like to say that, for example, if I was John, you have a tremendous amount of super nice raw vintage cards that you don't get graded, and I know you don't care. I would get them graded myself, or at least some of them.
George, you would not get them graded. It would cost you $1 million. You would pay $1 million.
Cost you a lot of money. I know.
He's got it.
Like, that's absurd.
Yeah.
Worship PSA.
No. I'm saying I just for not all of them, but just some of them, for the ability to move them, or the ability to just have them slabbed and not have to worry about them getting wet or flooded or fire or whatever.
You sell cards. I don't, so I'm just out that money.
It's true, but I'm saying you have a tremendous amount of raw, valuable, great cards.
Yes,
I don't have that.
They're expensive to grade too.
They are, and they're going to give you the treatment when you grade them.
After I'm dead, whoever gets them, they can sell it. I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't grade a card until right before you sell it anyway, because these standards keep changing. If you spent all your money 10 years ago, now people don't want those slabs. Now these standards just changed. I don't want to get into all that, but personally, now nobody get offended by this. This is my own personal belief, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to grade anything until right before I sell it. and then I'm guaranteed to have the freshest slab and the hottest slab and whatever. Because when AI comes, it's my personal belief that when AI comes, all this money we're spending on grading now is going to be pissed out the window, just like it was 10 years ago.
AI is definitely going to take over grading at some point, 100%. Nobody wants an opinion by another human. They want to send the card in 1,000 times and get the exact same grade 1,000 times. Let the market figure out where the value is on that, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah, AI would fix everything. I mean, it would not
really
miss
would.
10 marks.
No, it's
would
not
miss
there.
pinholes and give it a 9, and you wouldn't need. You know, they always say that as the head of PSA just said that at least 2 people look at it, sometimes 3, if the 2 people don't agree. Well, how do you get a 9 with a pinhole out? Like, how did 2 people miss it? How did 2 people miss George's? I just saw a fake Lake to Lake Hank Aaron. It was a reprint. It said reprint 1988 on the back, and it was graded. Whether that was a mistake with the label or a mistake with the no way 2 people looked at that and both got that wrong. You know what I'm saying? And there's no way 2 people missed a PSA 9 Ty Cobb with a clear pinhole and surface flaws. It's just not going to happen. So I don't believe 2 people look at all these.
Well, maybe they're trained in the exact same way, and that's why they both swing and miss.
You can't see a
blind leading the blind.
Well, here's one for you. 1990 Fleer Michael Jordan, bought a binder. It had 3 Fleer Jordans in it. They all look like 10s. Who is going to grade a 90 Fleer Jordan unless you're going to get a 10, right?
You will.
Well, no, I'm grading it because I think it's going to get a 10. Because if it gets a 10, it's a $225 card. If it gets a 9, it's a $25 card, right? Okay. So I grade 3 of them. The first one, I get them back. The same binder, never been touched by me other than this time, and put straight in the binder by somebody back in like 1990. The first one gets a 10. The one on the bookend gets a 10. The one in the middle gets altered. Who in the hell is altering a 1990 Fleer Jordan? This is not an altered card. Who is altering this? Nobody.
Dude, you never know. The last 3 years that card was probably $1,000 during that.
There are literally like 9,000 10s of this card. It's such junk wax, and it's Jordan, so it goes for a lot of money. But you gave me a 10, an altered, and a 10. And I don't even know what's altered about it. This isn't like it's 71 Topps baseball and somebody put a black marker on the bottom of it to cover up a corner.
I'll tell you what, I still remember putting that set together, sitting on the floor in my basement in my parents' house growing up, my dad watching basketball on TV, and me putting that set together. And I got 2 Jordans, and they'll probably both get altered when I send them in. I pulled them from packs myself.
Like, even within the same submission, they find a way to crash the plane into the ground. Now I'm done. Sorry.
The penny sleeve was altered.
Oh, yeah, I know. So,
hey,
Lou, how many cards do you have, Lou?
Yeah, what happened? Keep going around the circle. How many cards everybody has?
I'm
pretty intrigued.
Lou.
I'll go safe saying 60 to 70 in that range. But only like 70 cards of them are worth a damn.
Well, so you narrow it down within a different category like me? Or
no, I'm not that hard.
All together.
Like, I got my childhood collection. I know where that's at. But
Lou, you have more than 60 or 70 cards.
1,000.
No, I said 60 to 70,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 60 to 70.
Lost John.
Greg, I don't think you're as anal as Lou and me, and I highly doubt that you have that kind of size. I think you're more of a quality guy.
I would guess, I'm looking at the binders and stuff. I would guess I have 5,000. I have 1 double D card though. So I got 1 double D slab.
Nice.
Slab wise, I think I have about 200 that are, and that includes ones like this. I haven't gotten heavy into that yet. I have a lot of stuff in 1-touches. I have a whole 2-row of 1-touches, but I don't have the quantity.
That's a different collection. I have a 1-touch collection, completely off the books.
What does that mean?
What does
collection, man? They all have their own
off the
stuff.
books.
It's still in your collection.
I'm not the only one.
There's still cards.
I got my eBay collection too. Like,
hey,
his
collection is in a Swiss bank account.
Collection.
Hey, James,
These are
James, can you hear me?
Right? They're all
I know you're back there, but it won't let me bring one more person on. So I'm gonna have to.
No, I'll go. I gotta get
No.
going.
I have to go. I have to go, Don.
All
I
right.
said I told my wife 5:40. Well, 5:45 West Coast time. So I appreciate my take, Greg, to Misfits Day. This was a blast, and you all are fantastic. And I hope to make another appearance at some point. Don, I'll see you in Strongsville.
Looking forward to
I
it.
don't think I'll see the rest of you there, though. But
there goes our viewer
You
count.
might
And
see me. Thanks for
Cool.
joining.
I hope
appreciate
so.
it.
All right, guys.
later,
Thanks,
Greg.
See you guys.
All right, James. Sorry. I was
Oh,
trying to add you.
Hey,
and it
more
wouldn't let
time
me.
for you to talk, Don.
Yeah, there we go.
Bro. Damn, I missed the guest. Now we
Hey,
can see
James.
Dylan.
Dylan's a guest.
I know. What's up, Dylan? How you doing?
Yeah, good to see you, James. I'm still got to catch up on your last video.
Oh yeah.
Tops. You're
not missing out. You're not missing out
I'm
on
looking forward to it. I love those.
just
James,
the
how many
jockey.
cards you have?
Me?
James.
Like 100,000 or I don't know.
200,000 roughly.
I don't know.
Don, you downgraded. I bet you still have a lot of cards though.
No, my whole office is full of boxes. 5-row boxes galore. Like, forget about it.
forget
In
it.
the chat, how many cards you guys have?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll be curious to see. Put how many cards you have.
What's your answer?
And if you separate it, like me.
John, into your house. I know you always say 100,000, but
way more than that.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. He always says 100,000, but just looking at mine, I was going to say 20 to 30, but then I started doing the math in my head just now.
Yeah,
I have 25 shoe boxes, all of them at least 3 rows. This cat had the whole loft upstairs, and he's gone into his daughter's room now that she's moved out. I will say, and I haven't even looked at his second house, I will think this cat will have 250,000 safe.
No, I don't think I have that many.
Yeah, I think.
I'll bet you it's more than that. I've been to his house too.
I'm just looking at the boxes behind you.
You're sitting in a sea of boxes behind you. A wave of boxes.
Yeah, you're on boxes.
George,
on boxes right
George,
now.
I have a lot more graded cards than you're giving me credit for.
Just think, one set is 700 or 800 cards, and you've got how many doubles and triples?
Well, I have,
you know?
I have every set from 50. I have near sets from like every era, like starting way back, and I have near complete sets of every Topps run. So yeah,
what
I'm not
about you?
Read them all.
You open packs and boxes, so you've got to have 1 million cards. Like I'm looking
That's
at,
what I'm thinking.
I'm looking at 20,000 cards right here in my visual spectrum, and that's like.
Well, I mean, if you consider that there's 726 roughly, and all the sets. Now the older sets are much smaller, but just the top sets, there's a lot of cards in each set, right?
I think 250 is a safe number.
Oh, yeah, you're not even close, John. You're like in the millions. What do you don't throw away your cards? You don't throw away your
Four
cards.
Leafs in the millions. Boom slings in the millions.
Boom slings. That guy got a storage unit, bro.
Yeah.
He got a storage.
Wait, someone in the
3 months
James
later,
Gillum,
his house.
Stuke, I find it hard to believe you have less than 10,000 cards.
Hey, no one asked me, but I have some baseball cards too. But thank you.
Yeah, Don, you're up.
Don's
got 10 left.
I said
I got a lot less than I used to. That's what I said.
Quality. Sold off some, but so how many you have now?
Probably about. I'm more like Greg. Probably about $5,000.
Shoot, Don, I was going to tell you my birthday's in April. I was going to ask you for a list of what you got available.
About 15K.
Yeah. How about you?
These answers are going to be good. 18 to 20K.
Brilliant. 5.
Don, are you done? Don, are you done selling, or are you still kind of?
No, I'm still moving some.
He says I have 100,000 cards within a 6-yard
radius of all time.
That's actually not that far off. You guys know because I'm always grabbing my cards pretty quickly. It's like I have them all organized by year, and that like unless I don't have enough, and then I do it by era.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating watching other collectors how they organize. It's like
So fun. Yeah,
it's interesting because everyone has their own system, their own way of doing it. John, I like to say he finds cards quick,
which
so
is crazy.
I would hate to say that system's probably the best because I do it by year and by set. You know, if it's like,
I used to brag that I could find any card in my collection within 3 minutes.
yeah, you do.
But I got everything moved around now, so because you got to put them where they make sense, right? Like you can't have your 1973 tops in another room, and then the 74 tops is here, football or whatever. Like they got to make sense so that you can grab them. And I put them in eras. Now the downside to that is when somebody wants to do a VR and say pull out all your Clemente, show me all your Clementes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a 2-hour ordeal for me.
Yeah.
Because I have them by set, by set. And so I collect all the what you people like to call oddball cards too, and they're just everywhere because there's 20 different sets plus all the top sets, and it's quite the ordeal to pull them out and put them back. So I stopped participating in those because I would pull them all out, then I'd do another VR, pull them all out, and I would just have cards everywhere that I never put back.
Yeah, I always wonder how guys do these videos of like, every year, like my top 50 cards or top 100 cards. I'm like, dude, you're going to have to go to the safety deposit box or different places. And it's a lot. I know some people keep them at their houses, but it's a lot to do that every year. It just seems like a big ordeal. Like you're saying, with your Clemente run, your Jackie run, your Maze run. It's just a lot. I mean, you can do what you have, and then you sit there and you're showing your cards. And you're like, well, I actually have like 3 other ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, right.
I did a video on all my Jimmy Foxes, and somehow I ended up as a half Jimmy Fox super collector. I have all these cards, so I did a video, and I was like, oh damn, I forgot these 2 rare ones. So then I did a follow-up video. Then I found 3 more I forgot to show. I mean, everywhere I was going, I was finding another, or one was popping into my head because they're by set. They're not by not by the player.
Yeah.
Because to me, Dylan, you were talking earlier about Jefferson Burdick, the cards. He didn't even know the players. See, I'm at the point where cards are more important to me than the actual sports anymore. I'm the same way. I don't have to have seen a player to collect the card because it's about the cards for me.
I'm the same way. Obviously, there's exceptions. Obviously, we love players.
So I don't have them by players. My point, like I don't collect that way because I'm not collecting. I don't super collect the player, because it's about the card sets. It's not about the individual players within the sets necessarily. If that makes sense.
Yeah, let me just kind of just piggyback on this. I'm not trying to change the subject, but what do you guys think about the people who say, I just can't collect that guy. I didn't see him play.
Oh, you just missed the whole front
you missed that, George.
Okay.
We talked about that earlier.
All right. Well, yeah, it's just.
Well, what are your thoughts on it? Since
ridiculous.
You brought it up, it must be on your mind.
Well, it shows me. Now, I'm not trying to insult people, but I'm going to say the truth. It shows me an intellectual laziness. It shows me that you're not willing to look at the past, look at the old. You can even watch videos of Maze or Aaron or.
What if I don't care to?
Well, I mean, don't you want to know the entirety of the sport, or do you just want to live in your world right now? I don't want to know about Dr. J or Bill Russell or Elvin Hayes or Connie Hawkins. I just want to watch Luka. I mean, that's, it just shows a very short view of things. I mean, if you love basketball, you should love all of basketball. I mean, I know the sport has changed and stuff like that, but to me, especially with baseball, because the game is actually relatively similar to the way it was when they were walking home from the Civil War, watching people play baseball. It's a similar thing in 1950, and it's a similar thing today. And there's changes, but it's not changed as much as football and basketball. But I mean, it just shows me a lack of a desire to study the past and history and
George,
story.
I'm totally with you, but if some guy just likes basketball now, it doesn't matter that he doesn't like the past, but he shouldn't tell us not to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who cares that he doesn't like the past? I agree with you that I think you're missing out, but if that's their prerogative.
Well, it's
but don't push it on us and say that's so dumb that you're collecting guys you never saw.
I'll take it a step further. You know, somebody might live in an area that has a minor league team, and every year they go and they collect the card sets that they put out. They collect memorabilia, autographs, just of that minor league team. That's really their only interest. So be it. So what? I'm with you though, George. Like, I can't imagine me doing that.
Right.
But it's not up to me to tell somebody else what to do.
I understand that, but I mean, as you get older and hopefully wiser, you understand that there's a scope, there's a pantheon, there's a river. This is a sport, like baseball is a river, and you step in it at a certain point. But it began a long time ago, and it's going to go on in the future. And I just don't want to be short-sighted and think that the river, right? I mean, Dylan, you know what I'm talking about, man. But like,
well, we all know what you're talking about.
If you don't like history, I just don't get you. If you don't want to learn about the past and anything, it makes no sense. How are you going to move forward?
If we all went to the Baseball Hall of Fame right now, we would be running around like little kids. But the people you're talking about don't want to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. They don't care about that.
I'm hoping do that trip.
They can't understand us, and we can't understand them. Maybe.
But you hear these ball players of today. They say things. Aaron Judge talks about the great Yankees. They're educating, and they're educating themselves. You hear Jimmy Rollins talking about how he hung out with Hank Aaron and it blew his mind. But it's like baseball does that really well. It has its modern day players celebrate the past. From Ted Williams at Fenway, hanging with Tony Gwynn. These kinds of things. I wish more sports did this.
I just read a book on Larry Doby, and they had they were talking to Vince Coleman about Jackie and Larry Doby. And he was like, what the hell do I care about them? They're not buttering my bread, blah, blah, blah. 10 minutes later, the rain came down. They were rolling the tarp off the field, ran over his foot or his leg, and he was out. It was just like karma. Like, they got you.
Well, I say it all the time. A lot of young people, they don't know anything about Mickey Mantle. They don't care about Mickey Mantle. All they know is his cards sell for a lot of money. So they want to buy them and flip them. Or they want to buy them to invest in. They might not have any interest in learning one thing about them. And that's okay. It's like what Dylan was talking about. You could collect cards and never saw the guy play or don't care about it. You still like the card, though.
I would hope.
We're not going to understand it.
I would hope that you're talking about kind of a young person's perspective of like, my time is the best time. You guys haven't done this before. We own now, kind of thing.
Yeah, your time's passed you by.
And you would hope though, as they get older, I mean, you want them to do some bandwagon.
Yeah, but there's an old saying. There's like a saying. When I was 20, I couldn't believe how stupid my parents were. When I was 35, I couldn't believe how much they learned. Because you always think you know everything when you're in your 20s.
For sure. Superhero.
The older you get, the more you know you knew nothing. And
oh
you still
my God, yeah.
I'll tell you, John, like when I do a show, sometimes I'm shocked when a teenager comes up to me and starts telling me, oh, let me see your Hank Aaron. Let me see your Clemente. And I'm like, oh, you collect vintage? And they're like, yeah, I got tired of buying all these cards that, they're not worth anything because, in 2 or 3 years, the hype wears off. And so now I'm starting to buy vintage. A lot of young kids, I'm shocked that they're treating it like what Dylan said earlier, that it's an investment. Like they don't want to invest their money into the now players that are going to tank in the future. So I'm starting to see that a lot more with teenagers and 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
I am too.
I think a lot of us, because we collected the hot rookies coming up, the Joe Charbonneaus, the Kevin Mosses, and we did that too. Right. It's just we found out that 99.9% of them don't make it, and we wasted a lot of money chasing guys that did nothing. And now,
your generation.
But now you're paying $1,000 or $30,000 for a Kevin Moss today. Think about that. Yeah. That's what's happening now.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't going to make it. I mean, they're priced to win 3 times the Super Bowls as of Tom Brady. That's how they're priced. And I mean, look at Tom Brady. He's come down. Mahomes come down.
Jaden Daniels. This card is probably like $2,000. And I cannot get rid of this as soon as possible before he like breaks a leg or.
No, he could be great, but I mean, he's not yet.
That cereal box cards, $2,000.
Well, it's got.
I will ask everybody.
I'm gonna fall out of my chair in a minute.
If you ask everybody, name me a quarterback who played in the year 2000, other than Tom Brady and other than your hometown quarterback. How many can you name?
Oh, I can name
quarterbacks in 2000.
I can name all of them.
I mean, they're forgotten.
Go ahead,
I remember
Dylan.
buying Chad Pennington. He looked so good, and then we all discovered he didn't have an arm. And once the defenses caught on to that, that was the end of that. So David Carr.
Carson Palmer.
One after another, and some of them, looked good early on, but just did
Dan
nothing.
Bradford.
And I'm not even talking injuries. I'm just talking, it's hard to be a quarterback in the NFL, and you have 5 guys every year that you're paying $5, $6, $7, $30,000 to invest. So you're investing, you're speculating. Now we all did that, but when we were doing it, we were talking $10, $20. We weren't talking 30,000.
Well, and then there's like two of us
get
on.
Burned with that, they'll be thinking like us.
Well, I don't know how old James is, but me and Lou, we didn't get caught in any investing when we were kids. I know you say like you thought you were going to be $1 million off your Ken Griffey Jr. one day, but I never had those thoughts. But
I didn't either.
Money was always a part of it. I learned so much about money through cards. Like pretty much everything I know about cards, about money, is literally through cards. But I never had the money to invest in Greg Jeffries and stuff. So thank God I didn't get burned. But watching your generation get burned by that, we saw it full front right in our face. So I like seeing that, and it helps me in the future. But of course I'm going to get burned at some point.
You know what's funny? I grew up. The Don Mattingly Donruss card was like the invest card when I was growing up. And what's funny is he hurts his back and he's never the same. But that card, for whatever reason, never tanked.
The card was bigger than the player.
Oh my gosh.
I just bought this card today. My inventory is low. I'm like, it's a Mattingly rookie and a 9. It will go.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go, I'll keep it.
That is one of the few cards that is like tank proof.
Yeah.
But it's also not going to go to the moon. It's been the same price as when we were a kid. If it was $80 when we were a kid, it's $80 now for a 9. Right?
Yeah, with inflation, it's the exact same.
It has not gone up.
No, it's a $225 card, and a 9 and a 10 is astronomical.
Hey, Dylan.
The 10 is stupid.
Dylan.
First.
What's the 10 go for?
$200, that's reasonable. But when we were kids,
Dylan, you can't say
$10,
10s are stupid. You just offended 38 people.
Lou, what were you saying, buddy?
I wanted to tell Dylan because he was talking about how we were kids. How excited were you? Because I used to go to the little bookstore or go to the 7-Eleven, get my little Beckett magazine. When you saw that arrow up on like one of your cards, I was like, I'm making money, like stocks. The triangle.
Highlight.
You know what? I never looked at it that way because I was never going to sell. So I looked at it as the card was in demand.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a hot card to have. I looked at it that way.
Yeah, I was a kid. I thought I was getting rich. I was like, oh, my, because I didn't invest or anything like that. It's just I opened packs.
And I'll be honest with you. From the time I was a little kid till right now, my entire collecting life, not once have I ever thought what my cards might be worth in the future. Never crossed my mind.
You're a different breed. You're a different breed than me.
So when you looked at your Beckett, you weren't excited to see that triangle?
Well, I'm saying, like, I don't know what they're going to be worth in the future. Why would I even worry about it?
You don't worry about it, but you still can think about it.
I'm just saying, for me,
it crosses my mind. To think about.
I got a theory here. We have 3 kind of collecting generations here. We have, Don and John are a little older than James and I, right? James and I are 52, and we're right in the wheelhouse with Don Mattingly rookie. And then Lou and Dylan, you guys are a little younger, and you're kind of like in the 90s.
Yeah,
44.
44, yeah. Lou, you're like around that age as well, right?
Yeah, be 44 in April.
Yeah, bingo. So, what we have here is Don, you love the 76 set. I know you do
Right.
too, John. And it's like you guys are part of the set building era. You guys built sets, and that's what you did. And something happened, like with our era, and I consider it like basically Ricky Henderson was the beginning of this. Ricky Henderson, am I wrong, James? It was the beginning of what called the rookie card era. And then that was the beginning of Beckett and all that stuff. And then it was, Ricky Henderson. We were less concerned with set building. I mean, I did try to build an 84 Don set because it was awesome, but I really didn't build sets. And that's probably why I don't have as many cards. And there's nothing wrong with set building. But I mean, now that I'm selling cards, the set building guys are pretty much guys that collected in the 70s or earlier. And then you have the 90s guys like you guys and like Lou and Dylan. And you guys not only are into rookie cards, but there's also, you guys also were the first generation of kind of parallels. And shiny, and insert.
Yeah.
I had a guy, he bought a Derek Jeter 97 Tiffany numbered to 200 off me, and he lost his mind. And I'm like, okay, move it. So I mean, I think that's kind of like the difference here. We got we got 6 guys of 3 different collecting generations.
I didn't even know what rookie cards were.
I just picked this up. This is a Gwyn. I want to say 96. I don't know.
Lord to the Diamond. That's an awesome set.
But it's a refractor in a value box. Bowman's Best refractor of Tony Gwynn. And
no one likes Tony Gwynn.
Some of those refractors are selling for a fortune, and it just blows my mind what the Tiffany's sell for, if they're in a 10.
I picked this up today.
Tiffany,
the Electric Diamond, Michael Jordan rookies.
I think I own one.
Card. 1994, right there, yeah.
Tiffany.
But I picked that up is because it's an Electric Diamond parallel. So
yeah.
Pick
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It's all pops and buzzes.
I'm like, huh? What'd you say?
I was thinking about this today. It's like when it comes to modern cards, and I collect them, but I don't know that much about them, and I don't always know what are the short prints. How many do they make? What to chase in every product? Like I have no idea. And I was thinking about this. When it comes to modern YouTube channels, the people that show modern cards, now there are some exceptions, but the overwhelming people that show modern cards are flipping them or telling you what to do or investing or PSA reveals, and nobody really teaches you this stuff. Like in the vintage world, I think, and I heard Card Cutter actually say this. He said the same thing I'm saying. In the vintage world, the one thing we do have is a lot of people giving information, Yeah. And it's needed, but I think it's even needed more so these days with modern cards because they make so many sets every year and there's so many inserts and so many things to chase. I don't even know when I pull something out of a pack, I don't even know. Like I'll take a picture and I'll send it to our group or whatever, and somebody will chime in and say, "Oh, that's a really short print. Good pull." And I'm like, "Why is it a good pull?" Like I don't know.
Here's a tale from the National from Mattingly Drive right along these lines. I don't know much about the refractors. I just started learning about refractors like 4 years ago. I'm buying collections. I don't really know, but I'm like, I see it's shiny, and maybe it's a shiny card of Jeter or Griffey or Pujols or somebody. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get it graded. So anyway, I got this Griffey graded. It was called Bleacher Reachers. And I looked and I'm like, man, these cards even in 9s go for like $300. And so I submitted it. Shiny card, gets slabbed. It's a PSA 9. It's sitting in my case at $300 because PSA 9 refractors go for $300. And I just want to sell it, whatever. It's a great, and so I'm talking to a Griffey expert at our house on Mattingly Drive, Sticks and Seams. Sticks and Seams and I are talking late night, and I show him the card, ask him if he's interested, and he turns it over and looks at the back, and he says, "George, this isn't a refractor." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "They mis-slabbed it as refractor, even though it's shiny, but it would say refractor right here, but it doesn't." And I said, "Wait a minute, what are you telling me?" He's telling me, he says, "It's not a $300 card, it's a $30 card." Oh. I mean, I can't even rely, I don't even know. And then I think I know, and then I can't rely on PSA. And then next thing you know, I've got, this Griffey card that I just feel like giving to him.
But anyway, that's the problem. I don't always know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, cards from 2000 and above intimidate me.
That green metal Michael Jordan. Like I have the other version. I mean, cards from that era to me were not worth a lot. And if I would have seen that in the wild before I learned about it, I would have never, ever guessed that thing sells for $180,000 in an authentic.
Authentic EMG. Yeah.
Yeah, authentic.
Was that a gold
any
year?
car. But when I saw what somebody was paying for that, there was an old rumor, and this was years ago. This is when I first got back into collecting again, back in 2014. There was a rumor that there was a guy in Japan buying every one he could get. Some rich guy in Japan.
Yeah,
and they were selling back then. They were selling for like 150,000, and that was long before the boom.
Now you were saying it's a good segue because with the new stuff with the one of ones, the Tiger parallels, the donut parallels, but there is information on 90s inserts, and you really have to go to the guys who specialize, like sticks and seams. He's a Griffey guy. Nate, he's Bond McGuire, hence the 10 tops 85-401 McGuire. That's his niche. And I didn't know how hard these cars were because they know the pack ratios. Like, I love going through a box with Mike Sticks and Seams because I'm like, bro, look at the scrub, but the card is shiny. He's like, yeah, you need to get that because Griffey's in it. And I know for a fact that insert is 1 out of 288 packs.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you?
Where do you learn this stuff?
Well, they used to give the odds on the packs and boxes.
Those are let me to watch.
After you're done, Lou, I want to say something.
And tops 85-1.
John, here, I got something to say about this. I love how you go about it because I went about it the same way. And I think anyone who hasn't been on YouTube and was doing this in, as you say, in obscurity, even when I was opening loads and loads of packs and boxes and cases, I didn't know there was a card PD. I don't even know if there was back then. I didn't know anything about what was on the back of the packs. But collecting, you don't need to know anything. That's the best part about it. You can go on eBay and you can go to auctions and you can just bid and you can collect whatever the heck you want, and you're going to pay the market value for your cards. That's why I think collecting is so cool, because it is, especially when you're talking about graded cards. When I collected Japanese cards, I had for the last 2 years, like before I got the catalog, I didn't even know what any of it was. I just bought it, and then I would look at it and I would love it. And now I'm diving into the catalog. You don't need to know anything about refractors. You don't need to know anything about any of it. You can just go on eBay and buy what you want. That's literally the truth about cards. It's fun to learn that, but like you do, you don't need to know all this. Everyone's so particular about knowing all this information. You really don't need to know all this information. The market's going to tell you what the card's worth, especially if it's graded. That's what's so great about graded cards. That's why, to me, grading is the greatest thing that ever happened to our hobby, because it tells you what a card's worth and you can go and collect it. You don't need to know anything about it. That's like a side note. I like to know about things. I like to learn about things. But as a collector, you really, truly could be in oblivion by yourself in a room and have the greatest collection ever. And in 10 years, it could be worth a fortune and that just out of dumb luck. Because you have
a very valid.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Okay, Don.
It's great being on here. Good seeing y'all.
See you, Don.
Take care.
You have a very valid point, because I did collect in obscurity my whole life, and I just figured these things out, either through reading magazines or dealers, or just collecting them myself, or that's how I learned. And you're right. I mean, I never got burned or anything, but I seem to get that knowledge. But I mean, now there's like so many sets. I don't even know what set to collect. A new person comes in to the hobby. What are they doing? They go to Target and they'll be like, oh, I want to buy some hockey cards. They get themselves some MVP hockey. And those are fun to collect, but then they realize, well, that's not what most people are collecting. Maybe they don't know what to buy, what products, because the easiest products to buy for new people are all the products, you really can't sell or anything, if that's why they're doing it. And might not be the products they want to collect as they get more mature in their collecting.
Well, that makes sense. We want to change our collection as we mature, as you learn more stuff. But in the meantime, everyone says it, and it truly is. You can literally, as long as you're buying at market value, you can't go wrong, right? Because you can just sell it back at market value. Of course.
No, absolutely. I agree with you.
It's
You
like
can
ridiculous.
just
You don't need to know anything.
I get asked all the time, what's this worth? What's that worth? I'm like, go on eBay.
Go on eBay.
See what they're selling for.
Anything you want. Who cares?
Yeah, or I'll give them a condition, or I'll look it up for them. But I'll be like, that's what I do. You don't need VCP. Let's go see what they sold for.
VCP.
I mean, it gives you an idea, right? Because this whole pop thing. Let's talk about this. Comp. Let's talk about this comp thing. It's like you can have a 4 that looks like absolute garbage and a 4 that looks like a 7. Now, when you look these up on VCP, George, do you get pictures of every sale of every card?
Yes.
You get a picture of them all.
Yes. Sometimes you get like 6 pictures.
So you have to go through and look at every card and say, okay, this sold for higher. I see why. It's perfect.
I'm going to say a few things, and I'm going to hand the ball to James on this.
Yeah.
When you have it's easy when you're talking about 8s and 7.5s vintage cards. When the lower, and I tell this to all my prospective buyers because I try to have the best centered cards of anybody that I know selling cards. I try my best. But when you get
Dylan would disagree.
Dylan bought cards from me. That's why.
Yes, I did.
Anyway.
I got one on my wall, that 56.
But what I'm saying is the lower you go in what I explain to people all the time is they're like, well, why are you above comps on this PSA 6 Willie Mays, 61 Mays? And I say it's centered and it looks nice. And you can charge more if it's centered. It doesn't have fish eyes. It looks good. It looks more like a 7. It doesn't look like a 6. The lower you go, as we all know, the more random the cards look. So when you find a nice one and you can say at arm's length, why is that a 4? Then you found a good card and you probably should buy it. So I'm just going to hand the ball to James right now because I know he knows what I'm talking about.
The only thing I'll say is I love grading for one reason. It minimizes the debate because there's times you can have a raw card and now it opens up a Pandora's box.
Absolutely. From a seller's perspective, absolutely.
But now when
anybody on the planet disagrees with that.
Yeah, but then when it's graded, now it narrows it down. It's not the end all be all. There's still eye appeal that goes into it, centering, or maybe the grader got it wrong, or he didn't get laid that night, so he just decided to take it out on the card or something. But I mean, it narrows down the argument. That's all I have to say. So
no, I think everybody agrees with you. I mean, that's why they have a monopoly. They get a piece of everybody's collecting. Everybody's collecting money. They get a piece of. Think about that for a minute.
It's crazy. It's radical.
Well, I did, and Dylan, you're right, and I know that.
Hey, I'm going to step away for a minute. George, take over.
All right. So I know that John tends to disagree with me, so that's why I'm going to say it while he's, I'm just kidding. But I mean, Dylan, I think you're right because grading changed, and James too, and it changed the whole hobby because you could finally get an opinion that people respect, and you can say, yeah, this Koufax rookie is a 4. We agree that it's VGX or it's close. It's close. And I mean, that changed the whole hobby because I got back in 2005 and I'd be reluctant to buy raw cards. I still would. And somebody, would say it's VGX and you're saying, well, maybe it isn't. Grading doesn't eliminate that, like James said, but it does make it, at least it gives us a ballpark figure. Because I know you guys all remember going to shows. Did you, Dylan and Lou, did you guys buy vintage cards when you were younger, like 13, 14 years old?
In the dollar boxes, because it was a nightmare. No one would talk to me. No one was nice. And I felt like I was going to get ripped off at every corner. Plus, what did I have? $5 to my name when I was 14, maybe $10 on the big days. But I bought vintage cards, but I didn't speak to a dealer. No one spoke to me. But if I had graded cards, and they were on, like we have eBay, but just the market value, like you say, there's a number. I would have bought graded cards from the very beginning and have even a bigger collection today than I, as a kid, you can collect vintage now and not feel like you're going to get ripped off by the guy selling at the swap meet.
What did you buy vintage when you were younger?
I have to be very careful because when I was in vintage for me was Clemente. That was the first. That's how I dove into Clemente.
Yeah, well, for you, vintage was probably like early 80s and before.
Well, honestly, so 13, 14, that was like 94, 95. So vintage for me was early 70s, early 60s. So if you translate that to today, because I was just making a joke the other day in our chat, I'm like, this guy is freaking out because he's opening up wax box from he's like, it's 30 years old. And I'm thinking about like, that's 1995. So now that it's like full circle, you're asking me if I bought vintage as a kid, I was going to say yes, but god dang, the cars were like 20 years old, 25 years old, because it was 94 and I was buying like 68 Clemente or 69 Clemente. But to me, I was like, oh my god, this card is so old at 14 years old because it was a 69 Clemente.
I gotta say something though. I don't think PSA overall was bad for the hobby, but where I think it got a little out of control was with the registry. And this is my opinion. This is just my opinion. But I feel like it created competition, like way out of control. Like now the 10s got bought or overbid because there were only a few people that were competing for that registry, and they paid 5 times multiple to try to have that 110 or something. And the same thing, the 9s went kaboom because it helped your score or whatever. So I think it helped to just like make the hobby go a little out of whack. But it's just
sure, but did grading make it, or did the people collecting the cards and buying the cards make it? But
the registry was the outlet for that to happen.
Yeah, the registry. If you guys do I'm on the registry for Willie and for Hank and for Jackie.
Rockaroo.
Okay, so but I mean, like if you go on the registry, it's this artificially cool thing. For example, with Jackie, like they have certain Jackie cards that are worth a lot of money. They have certain Jackie cards.
Keep going.
You have certain cards though that are really much more rare than others, but they don't have as many points on the registry. So like I have no idea who's making the registry because it doesn't seem to make sense. At least,
but you don't win anything.
Well, you get an award at their luncheon.
Whoop-de-doo.
Award.
I don't know, the 10
major award.
You spend $500,000 with them to get the #1 set registry, and you get a lunch. And you win an award. You don't even probably.
These guys are obsessed, and I get it. When you've got enough money to be able to put together the highest 53 top set.
You asked a question earlier to Dylan, or I heard you alluding to it. Is you were asking him Dylan asked did people cause this or PSA? And I asked the question, if I could make an analogy, how many heroin addicts would there be if there was no heroin?
That makes sense.
There'll be cocaine addicts. They'll find something else, bro.
I mean, you can't blame the heroin for somebody doing the heroin. But you blame the people to make it available.
This is how I know I'm getting old, because to me, the PSA 10 has always been a facade, has always been a mirage. Because when I was a kid, that's why I don't understand why 7s and 8s and 9s are so bad. Because when I was a kid, near mint, there was only 2 columns in the Beckett. There was near mint and mint. So when the mint 10 was never anything when I was growing up.
Oh my God, they're cards. They're cards. Like I personally, I'm glad people paid $5,000 for 86, PSA 10s, because that's a lot less money competing with the stuff I want to buy.
Yeah, so. Jake was saying the same thing.
For sure.
Well, I mean, this is interesting because when the PWCC trimming scandal happened, I've talked about this before a little bit. Dylan, we're all just watching what's going on with Dylan World. This is awesome. Nice boards, man.
Thank you.
It's like a reality show.
It is.
I wanted to hear.
No, I appreciate that.
Hey, but can you take us outside and see Gimpy?
Oh, yeah, he's out there with all the babies.
Yeah. He has a rooster that has one leg. He calls him Gimpy, and he just He just went at it with a hen, and they had a whole bunch of little chicks.
9 babies under our deck. It's awesome.
Oh, drumstick.
Gimpy's the man.
I'll go show you. Keep going.
I just forgot what I was going to say. I got totally derailed, man. I got totally derailed. What was I saying?
I was talking about near mint and mint, gem mint being made up.
We were saying that
Oh,
if you don't collect PSA 10s, you shouldn't collect.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been told
people
that.
say like, hey, it's a 9 today, it could be a 10 tomorrow. Keep cracking it and resubmitting it. And it's like amazing that people spend time doing this. I guess if it's worthwhile and the money is there, they'll keep doing it. I mean, I might.
Did you watch the video I sent you yesterday?
You sent us a lot of videos.
I was good. You beat me to it.
I'm just saying. It's true. I appreciate you, though.
This guy's hilarious. Now, he doesn't take this very seriously, but I wonder how many people are like him that do. So
Come here, Condon.
He got it's just hilarious. I mean, it was entertaining. He got a 89 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie.
Oh,
so he sent it in to a PSA, and it came back a 5.
Oh yeah.
So he cracked it, sent it to another grading company. It came back a 6. So he's all pissed, and he wants to burn the card. He wants to burn the card because it doesn't have a high enough number. So he decides to get Kurt's card care kit, and he steams it. He found out there's some kind of little crease. According to him, I don't know about this. He says there's a factory little crease. So he was going to steam it out, and
because this is the only Griffey.
So he's paid for grading twice. He bought Kurt's card care kit. Now he's paying for grading a 3rd time. I mean, he could have bought a 9 cheaper.
yeah.
Yeah, the 9. I picked up this 9 for inventory, and it's $190. And I can tell why it's a 9. It's a stupid hologram. It's not right. But I watched a guy one time on YouTube years ago. He submitted 100 Griffey rookies upper deck, and he didn't get a single 10.
I think I got my 9 for like $20. You used to be able to. You couldn't give that card away at one time. They produced 12 million of them.
They're still producing them.
Yeah, they're still making them. You know, like everybody. There are guys that probably haven't looked at their cards in 30 years, and they have that card in a binder. They do, or stacks of unopened boxes in their garage. Yeah, so that thing's hard. I hate talking about this. It makes me want to vomit, to be honest, but I'm going to talk about it. So that thing's hard to gem because of the hologram on the back. Is that right?
That's what they say.
That's my understanding. James, am I right?
That's what I've heard.
I don't see that being the point. I've held 10s in my hand, and the holograms are all over the place.
Yeah, right.
Even on a 10.
Even on a 10.
So that's not the problem.
Dude, if you have a PSA 10 Ken Griffey 89 upper deck, I would sell that thing so freaking fast. The 9, $200 sounds like a perfect price. I don't understand that.
Nobody could tell the difference.
I don't get it.
This guy sent it in 5s, and he thought it was perfect. So that you can't tell the difference. He expected it to come back at 9 or 10.
Yeah, no.
Well, George thinks those 10s are going to be worth $5,000 shortly. So,
hey, remember the Don Mattingly rookie I showed you?
Yep.
I told you we were like the 10s go for a boatload. One went off last night. 3 bills. $3K.
You got
it. It doesn't mean they're always $3,000. To me, that has the most opportunity to go down in value versus a 9. That's my opinion.
It's not. The guys that didn't watch him play aren't buying it.
The Yankee fans are crazy. I'm telling you, that fan base is bananas. They love Donnie.
I'm not saying the card. I'm saying being in a 10.
I love them too, but I mean, I don't need it.
They are not grading a bunch of 10 anymore. They are not. You can get bazillion 9s. There aren't many 10s. It sounds stupid. It's artificial population control. It's total BS. But it is the way.
No, we understand that, George. You don't have to defend it. We know. We know. I mean, it is what it is. We know.
I didn't get another drink.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
know.
come on, Lou. What's your German?
Just because I talk
made
about
the
it, it's all right. I'm still your friend.
No, but I mean, I
I'm
understand
still your friend because you're a PSA cult member.
Well, I'm trying. I paid my dues. I paid my fees. I'm trying to become one of Dylan's. I got to pay Dylan's club fees too to get slabbed by his service as well. So now Lou's taking us on a tour of the Lou Rock.
I like it. The Lou Rock Empire.
Oh my! Oh wow!
I gotta.
That's where you cried. That's where you cried when we seen you cry in that room.
Dylan.
Orlando says best live ever. Cards.
Dylan, I gotta show you something.
Yeah, James. Let's see it.
Put me on.
2010.
No. So I bought a collection recently on Monday from an old timer who he's much like Dylan, but he labeled his cards on the top loader.
Oh,
you're not gonna be able to see it, but he put the description of the card and everything on the top. And it is so cool. He has his whole collection is all labeled just like Dylan does, but he stapled them on the top. You can't get them out to inspect them. He just wanted to encapsulate it in there with the staples.
Oh, good Lord.
The staples, it's 1983 ceiling.
I've never seen stapled card savers. This is so cool. They're really nice. They're really nice.
Did he grade them? Does he have near mint, VGX?
Yeah, did he grade them bottom? Did he grade them?
He put G to VG on the bottom.
Yes.
Old school Dylan.
Every card on the bottom, he has what he thinks it is, and on the top, he labeled it. He was ahead of his time from PSA.
I love that.
Yeah.
You should send them. You should send those to Pig. Get him slapped.
Yeah, man.
Does Pig do pre-war?
My cards.
Pre-war Pig.
I hate them.
This was in his collection. How many people want this?
That's the W516 Matty.
Yeah, but the third of it is ripped off.
Yeah, I can't do that. I just couldn't enjoy that card.
You don't want that after playing Days card.
I can't do that ripped in half style.
That's modern, Rick.
Oh, there it is, John.
Yep.
Look at that.
Jimmy Fox, baby.
40 play ball, Jimmy Fox.
That looks rough.
You know what he didn't label? He didn't label a modern card for him. This was too modern to label.
No way.
That's they're all mint. They're all mint, near mint, mint to mint plus.
Hey, when you're a vintage collector, all the new cards look mint.
Why does Lou showing us that beautiful Larry Doby? Show us that beautiful Larry Doby.
Hey, Lou, show us that baby.
Yeah, bring that thing out.
That mustard-colored background. Dylan, have you seen this centering, my friend?
Beautiful copy. I was very jealous. Very, very.
I got the mustard.
I don't want to see the card. Just show me what numbers on it. Just show me the flip.
Dude, that mustard-colored background is more.
Let me
mustard.
put you on.
That's more mustard than my Z Cavaricis from 1989, dude.
Ooh, look at that thing.
Such a beautiful card.
Thank you.
God.
Smiling.
I've looked at that several times. That thing's so pricey.
The blue and the red, I'm gonna say it, that Indian popping off is just, and the helmet or the hat, so nice.
So beautiful. The leaf is too. That leaf is really pricey.
Yeah, the registration on that leaf is constantly messed up bad, like the feller.
Yeah. Yeah, but those that's just such a beautiful card.
Thank you. I want to get the ketchup red now to match. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I'm totally jealous on you, dude.
Which ketchup red? The 52?
No, 49 Jackie.
And I'm just messing with you.
49 Jackie.
The 52 is ketchup red too.
What's the last card you got, Dylan? Show us.
Someone's not sleeping.
I just got one in the mail. Here we go. Right here.
What's going on with Bob?
Modern card.
She needs to be in bed.
Hey, put me on solo, John.
Is that Godzilla?
Yeah, Godzilla. Rookie card numbered to 40.
I loved him.
It was like $6 or $12 at auction. I think I won it for. Yeah, I just showed up in the mail today. Super, can't wait to slab it up.
Hey, I'll be right. Stay on there. I'll be right back.
Well, I'm on solo. Here, I'll show you guys. I did slab a couple cards. I got one from Lou Rock.
Yeah, bro. All those Tiffany's.
Tiffany. Got another one for you, Lou, because I grabbed all your leaders cards and all-star cards in that pack. I was trying to not take all your good stuff.
No,
I have that set.
All those cards were cherry. You got to admit. All those.
This one's great. This one's an 8.5.
It's a double D 8.5.
8.5. And I did pick this up this week too. From my buddy. We sent 71 of his cards. An old friend of mine, his name's Ernest, I talk about all the time. He's like almost 80. I bought a bunch of his cards. Well, we sent 71 to Greg Morris graded cards, and so I did buy a couple from him. I got the
let me put you back.
I got the F face from him. And this is the second one I bought from him because he had piles of them.
I've never owned that card. Never.
Dude, I had never owned it for years, but this is the second one now in the last couple of years.
Always on my desk, bro. It's one of my favorite cards. It stays on my desk.
And I bought this Kirby Puckett.
I love that Kirby Puckett, and I have I like the O-Pee-Chee. I got the O-Pee-Chee. I like that one better.
Sick. Yeah.
Let me show you. Go ahead.
Nope. You good? Oh yeah, sick.
But you want to talk about parallels and variations, John? This is a fun card to have. But there's the black scribble. There's the black box. There's the
yeah. The white one's the most rare.
Yeah, but Sticks and Seams just found a black scribble in a value box.
But the best one is the F word on it. Like I don't even want the other ones. It's all about the F word.
I only want the white out.
Dude,
it stays on my desk.
Yeah,
it's my favorite card.
I don't want one because I don't use that word.
My wife saw me.
I
don't want to read FU every day.
She's like, "What's F face? Did you write it wrong?" I go, "No. Look at. Let me. I pulled it up. Yeah, there we go, Lou.
Did you just get that
jacuzzi card? No, that was the trade in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, you took a stack of. What was the?
It was the Daryl Strawberry.
I graded that for you.
Tiffany in a 9. And then a stack of like leaders cards and all-star cards, 84 Tiffany's, sick ones for that. Which I got that on the floor at the National. I traded some Ohtani rookies in a 9 for that card.
Yeah, it's a sick.
So it's at the National the year before, and Rick saw me. He was standing there. He talked about it. So that's pretty.
Let me show you what I got today.
All right, let's see.
Oh. Dun 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 dun.
Your mail, lady.
Right. 1930 Blue Ribbon Malt Premium of Rogers Hornsby.
Nice.
Let me get
Woo! Huge slab.
Raja.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, so this is a great backing that it comes on it, kind of like the beehive photos for hockey. You know how they come stuck to a backing. So this has like a gray backing.
Oh yeah.
But, PSA has only graded 3 of these.
I got a question for you guys. I'm gonna show you 2 pickups, but this leads to a question.
And I don't mean, hey George,
okay.
I don't mean that they only graded 3 of that particular numbered grade. I mean only 3.
I feel you. Only 3 of that, huh?
No, do you see the guys on eBay, and they'll be like, it'll be a PSA 3 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, and they'll be like, it's a pop 2.
Dude, and that sells for like $80, and I'm like, who in the world? Yeah. What is happening?
Because they're saying that there's only 2 graded A3.
It makes
you know what I mean? There's not just 2 graded.
It turns my stomach. Or more like it turns my brain.
It's false advertising, is what it is.
Crazy.
I mean, technically,
I think it's very, very important, and James does this too. We do it as dealers, but we all do it on our YouTube channels, is try to educate people. And I'm not saying I know everything, But I mean, like, yeah, this stuff. I mean, you know, maybe they're doing it intentionally, maybe they're not. You know, I don't know.
They're doing
But
it
we just need to
intentionally.
continue to educate. Yeah.
Oh, James, you had a question for us.
Oh, I don't know if it applies to you, Dylan. Did you watch much football?
Yeah, I hate football.
He doesn't know who anybody is. He doesn't even know who Patrick Mahomes is.
Well, maybe you heard of these two names. I picked these two up at the last show.
Orlando next week.
So, who would you rather have, Barry Sanders or Sweetness?
Give me Sweetness, baby.
Well, card-wise, definitely Sweetness.
A player or a card?
I know who Barry Sanders is, but I obviously know who the other guy is.
Actually, probably
Barry.
both.
I
I'm
think
just
know
saying-
the card, not the guy.
For your team. For your team
Barry.
as a running back.
Walter
Barry.
Payton. Walter Payton. That's a no-brainer.
Oh, I thought you were asking about the card.
No.
Too.
Walter Payton all day with that one.
You can't touch Barry.
I would take Payton.
Walter
Payton over Barry Sanders?
Walter
I mean-
Payton is like this. Jim Brown's the greatest running back of all time, but Walter Payton is number 2 and Barry Sanders is number 3. Clearly,
I'd take Gil Sears over both of them.
What?
I think Barry's the great.
he had ACL surgery. You'd probably be right.
Oh, he was insane. Don't forget, he was also a kick returner, a punt returner, and a receiver. Like he could catch. He caught a lot out of the backfield. That guy was insanely good.
Barry was the only reason there was people in the stands. Barry will run 50 yards for a 2-yard gain.
That team.
That
sucked.
line was so horrible.
But what you don't understand, Lou, is that the Bears sucked just as bad when Walter played.
Yes. They knew
sucked
exactly
bad,
what
except for that
they were
one
going to
year.
do. Every week, the Bears.
He was all they had.
From 1976 to until Jim McMahon came, they knew exactly what was going to happen with Walter Payton.
I want to tell
And
you
it was
something.
every week, 25 carries.
Yeah, I want to tell you something. This is, and you can look it up. You could go watch film. The steel curtain defense, nobody could run on, right? Chuck Foreman ran for -6 in a Super Bowl. Earl Campbell ran for -6 in a championship game. The one running back who killed them every time he played them was Walter Payton.
Okay.
Walter Payton returned punts his rookie
And
year.
they had no other weapons.
He was a blocker, like unbelievable blocker. He could throw the ball. He has numerous touchdown passes, and he could receive out of the backfield. He could do it all. Barry Sanders might have been a more electrifying runner.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think John would agree with that. But as an all-around back, if your quarterback's like, I'm doing play action and I want somebody to block for me, Payton is going to just take the dude out.
You know, people always vote for the most flamboyant. You know, they just love flamboyance over everything else. Now Barry Sanders was a phenomenal running back. We're not taking anything away from it. Do you know that Walter Payton used to run hills until he vomited?
He did the hill for Jerry Rice.
He was so strong. He would just carry guys, run them over.
Ask Rick. Rick, who you taking? Walter Payton?
He's going to say Craig.
Roger Craig, Marcus Allen.
No. Who you taking? Barry Sanders or Walter Payton?
Barry Sanders all day.
You got to tell him to get his internet connection right and hit his mic and tell him to put on his readers.
Am I that blurry?
Take yourself off mute, Rick.
Get
Your
the
mute's on. Can I take him off mute for him?
Number 1 or number 2? 1.
There.
I
took you off mute.
There you go.
Better or worse?
Barry Sanders, man.
Oh, we got
If you're
Come on, man.
If you're going strictly by a running back,
running back.
running the ball, Barry Sanders.
Oh, why? Come on, tell us.
Why? He played for a terrible team his whole career. Terrible team. They couldn't pass the ball,
and so did Walter
and
Payton.
everyone lined up just to stop him.
Same with Payton.
That's why. If he was on a good team, it would be he'd be unstoppable. Well, he's unstoppable anyway.
Put Barry
Look at the team he played on.
Everybody thinks of Walter Payton in that year they went to the Super Bowl in '85. But that was like they finally went to the Super Bowl. They sucked before that. They sucked for his whole career.
No,
And
they
they
sucked
sucked
at
after
their
that.
whole career. That's why he left. That's why he left.
No, he literally was their whole offense there.
Yeah, their
They
quarterback.
had a short stint where they had a passing attack.
You can't even name a Bears quarterback in that time period. The Lions had at least Scott Mitchell, who was like trained under Dan Marino, right?
God,
Well,
Mitchell.
the Bears. What was that guy's name? His name was like Huff, wasn't it? Huff.
You can't even name a guy.
No, you can't. You can't even name him. You can't name him.
Man was a scrub.
There was never a time Walter Payton ever ran out of bounds to avoid contact. And you said it, John, absolutely right. The Steelers, he took the Steelers to task. He would go over the guy would just look for linebackers and secondary guys to hit. I mean, as a total running back, Walter Payton is superior. As a runner, Barry Sanders is the best, probably.
Look,
at least in.
If he had a quarterback, I'm sure Barry would have caught some passes. But they had nobody. By the time he got the handoff, there was already two people in the backfield. Like, they were horrible.
Dude, I got a question for George and James.
Well, we all agree with that.
What's that?
True.
Brother?
True.
I've been really interested to know.
We'll bring it back to baseball.
I want to know a lot about George's PC because and James too. I know more about what James you kind of collect and are keeping longer term, but maybe you've changed things up, maybe not. But George, because you're such a dealer now, I know you have a PC. Are there cards you just will not sell? Or
Jackie Robinson.
Or will you sell everything for a price? And there's no wrong answer.
Rockaroo, Satchel, and Jackie are got to be your top three, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've sold some Jackies, but it's stuff I have doubles of.
Yeah, I was going to say doubles of them.
Yeah, I mean.
You won't sell Jake the Snake either.
Jake the Snake, #1, baby.
Jake Plummer.
Well, Jake wanted to buy this 53 Mays off me at the National in New Jersey, and it was a PSA 1. It looked really nice, and we couldn't come to an agreement. And Rick is like, I'm interested in that, but we never did a deal. 2 years later, Rick bought it, and Jake at the time was like, if I get that card, I'm just going to snap it out and put it in a binder. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that to happen. It's a nice one. And Rick bought it, and he's probably going to grab it maybe. I don't know.
What's wrong with binders?
Nothing's wrong with binders, but this card is really well preserved for a 1.
It's a 1. Nobody wants a 1.
Like, I love George. It doesn't matter. Like, I can't negotiate with that cat. I'm like, bro, it's a 2, but it's the nicest 2 you'll ever see. It's a 7, but it's the nicest.
This is the nicest.
Come on, bro.
Throw that away.
I can't get him drunk enough either, man. I try to get him drunk, and he's like, it's still a great 3, Lou.
Hey, man, it looks nice, bro.
Dylan.
Here.
Yes.
To answer your question, all cards are 99% on the table to sell because I can't take them with me. And my son doesn't care about cards.
One play. Wasn't that Peter B?
I'm not going to. But cards like this.
What you got, bro?
I will never sell.
Oh, I was like, that's on the table, bro?
No. There's certain cards that as a kid, I just never thought I'd own. This was one of them. And
okay, but why is it that Ernie Banks, that piece of that cardboard? Or is it just that, or just having an Ernie Banks card? Or that one in particular?
So when I got back into collecting, there were a few cards that were on my targets. Like I just knew I always wanted them as a kid. When I looked in the Beckett magazine, they were there in like the second page as, you know, the high risers kept rising or whatever. And this was one of them that I always thought was the most magnificent card I ever saw. And when it was one of the second biggest card I ever picked up when I started buying again. And I put so much time and effort into making sure I had enough white showing, figuring out what made the card like so hard to find in the meat because it was where it was
the bottom.
Yeah. And it is the most time I invested into a card that it made this card when I finally found it. I paid like $50 more, but I knew this was the one. And when I got it, like I probably looked at it for like a month every day. So this is like one card. I don't care. I will never let it go. People have offered me like $100 worth more than what it's worth. I don't care. It's not even about the money no more. This is why I fell in love with collecting. This is a representation of it, so I'll never let it go.
Everything he just said is true.
Show me one of yours, George. Then you won't.
Amen. I don't have anything right here with me, but it's a similar story. I mean, it's not about the value of the card. I mean, I have some cards that are pretty valuable, but like Walter Payton, a friend of mine we rode our bikes on the canal in the heat in Arizona, and we went to his house, and he had a bunch of sports cards, and this is back when this is probably in 1980, and he had a bunch of sports cards from his uncle, Wilt Chamberlain's and Bill Russell's and all this stuff, and he had a bunch of like football cards, and he had like 78 Walter Paytons, and he gave me a Walter Payton, and I said, seriously? And it was like in perfect condition in my mind. And I took that card, we drove home, me and my 3 buddies, and we rode along the canal, and it was like 120 degrees. And I got home and I put it in my, shoebox, probably my Kmart shoes at the time. And, eventually during COVID, I got the card graded, and it graded a 4, and it's my 78 Walter Payton, and the market value is probably about $30, maybe $20, but it's one of my favorite cards. And it's like, yeah, James and I deal in world. We all have cards that we have are very valuable and stuff like that. But some cards you just keep and you remember where you got them. And, that's just kind of, there are big cards I have that, I won't sell. But like that Walter Payton, that just comes to mind.
Love it. I love it. I do think that Ernie Banks is like, when I was a kid, probably number 5 most, like in the top 5 most iconic baseball cards I saw every freaking place I went. Like every magazine, not every place I went. I'll take that back. Every magazine I picked up, every book, it was everywhere. That was one of the first big ones I picked up after I went through a giant pickup stage. Second giant pickup stage in my life was that card. So I treasure that. Hey, Rick Belichick's falling asleep. You got any questions for Rick over there? Is it Bill Belichick?
Rick, what's the one card you just won't let go for nothing, even if they offered you $1 million for it?
I don't think I have any.
Yeah, $1 million.
I'm here to flip. I'm here to flip, man.
What? $1 million, anything's out the window. Everything I got.
All right, let's say 10 grand for a card that's not worth 10 grand.
How about 5? Make it reasonable. Because 10's still kind of a lot. I might sell my memory for 10 grand. Because I still have the memory.
He's like, I have it locked in.
It's there. I might.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to give up like a Ruth card or a Mays card. Those would be 2 or Mathewson. So I pretty much would get rid of other stuff first before those cards. So, but there's not one card that I would. I like to keep ones from my childhood collection,
Yeah, there we go.
Or people like George, buying one from George or stuff like that. Maybe my first eBay pickup, just things like that mean more, I guess, to me than, I don't know. That's the way I look at it. So,
do you remember your first eBay pickup?
Yeah, I can.
No way.
I'll show you.
Holy smokes! That's kind of fun.
Your first eBay pickup, Rick? Did you have to send a check?
How is this?
Or
what
like
do you have?
Let's get checks too.
Remember the money order? That was way back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a lot of trust back in the day.
Oh, God, going to the post office and sitting there?
It was a 67 Mays.
Oh, shit.
A little off center. Dylan, it's a little off center. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's an old holder and it sucks.
I love you.
That's worthless.
Yeah, it starts 08, baby.
Oh.
Wow, that's
so
sick.
When I first got on, realized that they were selling cards on eBay. I was this was the first one I bought, even though
Rick,
I had one. But
Rick, are you using your flip phone? It's so blurry.
Rick, are you on dial-up?
Don't they have internet in California?
I'm blown away. You know what your first eBay pick is. I think that's freaking awesome.
That is awesome. I have no idea.
No, I have no idea either.
The days of the money.
I do have mine.
Do you remember the first card you ever got?
This would be mine. I would never sell.
You'll never sell that card? Why?
I got this when I was either 10 or 12 years old for Christmas from my uncle. And he actually has a whole set in a binder. And he gave me this one, obviously ungraded at the time. And I had it ever since. And
Hey, where'd that go? Oh,
I sent it in for grading myself, too. Yeah. But I do wish I knew my first eBay purchase. Man, that would be a sick one to have.
Rick, Mookie says that your camera is so old it needs cataract surgery.
Hey, Dylan, I was at a spring training game on Friday, the Padres and the Mariners, and I'm walking along. My wife and I are going. We're looking to get another beer, and I look over and I see a guy with a number 45 St. Louis Cardinals jersey. It says Gibson on the back. And my wife keeps going, and I say, "Hold on." And I walk over to the kid, and he was probably like 30 years old. He was there with his Little League. He was a coach in the Little League for his son, and I hit him on the shoulder, and he looked at me like upset, and I said, "That's a great jersey." And he's like, "Thanks." I said, No, that's a great jersey. Because you
funny.
see that kind of stuff.
I saw these young.
And my wife is like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Nothing."
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I saw these young guys walking around. They were like, I don't know, like 15, 16, and they had a Willie Stargell jersey on. And I went up to them. I'm like, "What do you know about Willie Stargell?" And they're like, "Well, nothing. I just like the shirt."
My dad said he was cool.
They didn't even say that. But I was all happy they were wearing it.
Hey, at least that's the first step. That's the first step into reading about history. Just get on the bandwagon. Just come on board. You got plenty of room, man.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, Mangini, I think I know yours. 1973 Topps home run leaders card is like that would be like the one. Do you still have that card from that photo?
Yep.
Yeah, and I know Lou.
I got the old Peachy too.
Roberto. Yeah, that old Peachy. I'm still looking for centered. It's still on my hot list. As a challenge.
Well, you're never going to find a centered one.
It will happen. It will happen.
It's impossible.
What are you looking for?
73 all-time home run leaders card, OPG centered. I've been looking for 2.5 years since I saw John's video, and then I don't know, whatever happened, he told me about the
Maze Aaron Ruth.
I'll tell you, you may find, I'm not going to say it's impossible. I can guarantee you're going to pay a fortune if you do. I have never seen a centered one ever.
I haven't yet either.
They're way off center. Like they're not even close to centered.
I haven't seen one either. I will though.
You always saw 3 center cards at the National.
That's it.
No, 4. 4.
Anything 8 and under. only saw 4. I bought 2 of them.
So all the PSA 10s at the National were off center?
No, 8 and under. 9
8 and under.
Display cards and stuff. 9s and over. I don't even look at it anymore. 9s and over, that's done. That's 2019 and below when you could look at 9s.
So now, does anybody remember the very first card they ever bought?
Yeah. I got it.
Well,
his is a 73 Clemente. I know.
First vintage card. I have it. Legit
I don't know the first card I ever got.
Might be on my
it was
wall.
in a pack. Well, I guess I would have gotten how many cards were in a pack? I don't even remember.
The first
12 to 20. I don't know either.
This is the first card I remember taken everywhere. I remember the blister pack, but it was this Kirby Puckett. I had
resharing that
rubber band. It was in my shoebox every time we moved. My pops was in the military. It was always the one card I remember had to be on it was the number 1 in every stack. It had the rubber band, and I always checked.
He left.
If Puck hadn't gotten hurt, I think he would have gotten 4,000 hits. That guy was so good.
Yeah, what happened
So
to
consistent.
Puckett? I don't even know the story of Puckett.
He got hit
Always
in
loved him
the
since I was a
eye.
kid.
He got hit in the eye by Cecilio Guante of the Texas Rangers, who threw a massive fastball. And then he had problem recovering, and then eventually he was diagnosed with glaucoma, and then he had to retire. And he had gotten 200 hits for like almost 10 consecutive years. He was an unbelievable.
He was a hitting machine. I'll tell you what, he was one hell of an outfielder too. And he had no fear going into that wall or anything. He was like a little bowling ball out there.
Yeah, he could do everything. He could do it all. I mean, he could hit for average, on base, power. You know, he could do everything.
Really good player.
That catch.
Oh, I found mine. I found mine. Okay, so this card right here is second most special card in my entire collection. And it's one that it could be even more. I mean, not one that Bob Gibson kind of started it all for me for like collecting really high quality cards because grading came out. So I sent this one in. I was like 7. So I sent it in, got a 7. I said, well, I want all my cards to look like this. So I bought all 7s. Well, this card I bought when I was a kid in a box, the dollar bin, Eddie Matthews, 1960. And this thing's been in such an old slab that I made. I probably bought this when I was 10 years old.
Is there a more underrated player than Eddie Matthews?
Eddie Matthews.
Not too many.
No, there it really isn't.
Dylan, it's funny. We have we collect a lot of the same ways when we start to talk about how we grew up and everything. And I was a big 7 guy. I loved 7s. They looked beautiful, and I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for them. They looked perfect to me. And that's what I used to target.
You know, back in the day, the thing was, you could get an Aaron Amaze, a Clemente in an 8 was like $200. And I'm talking like 2006 to 10, 11. $200, 64 Mays, 64 Clemente. But that 7, you could get into a 7 for like, if you got a good deal, it'd be like $75.
Yep.
Maybe 110. I remember I bought my 64 Aaron for 110. And I thought, man, I'm overpaying for this card.
Hey, Dylan, it's
crazy, right?
Tell everybody what you paid for that Hank Bauer 52 tops.
Oh man, I had a 7 Hank Bauer.
This is where vintage is for low grade. It's just
it was a 7. And I sold it a couple of years ago and went on this kick. Well, I've always been wanting 1 cent, and when I was at the dentist chair today, I was in the dentist chair, and there was an auction going on. You know, there's somewhere else. I'm like, eBay ending soonest. I seen this thing. I go, oh, that's it. It's centered. Look up the cert number to look at a better photo.
Yep.
And then looked at it, and I couldn't sit because it started at $34. So I was like, okay, no one bid yet, and I was like one of those like. I normally like to wait till the last second, but I was in the chair. And I'm like, when's she going to come back? So I bid $54 and like some odd cents. Just so I'm like, well, I got to win this card.
Just in case.
Beautiful 3 Hank Bauer. Sold my 7 like 400. And boom, I won it for $34. Only bidder in the dentist chair. Everyone says stories don't happen when you buy cards online. I have so many stories about cards that I purchased. Like Rick remembers his first card he bought on eBay. Like, I mean, I have lots of stories of cards that I purchased online because I bought all my cards online. I never bought cards in the flesh. You know, for the last like 12 years. So
I would be buying cards. I was
the same way because I didn't have access to shows for a long time.
Me too. Well, I guess I did, but
without traveling and I, not knowing people at the time, I wasn't going to go traveling by myself to all kind of shows. Rick, what's the last thing you picked up?
I gotta tell you, Dylan, based on that.
I'm not sure. I haven't picked up anything recently.
Oh, get out of here.
Whatever, bro.
I don't believe you.
No, I haven't.
Dylan, when you were saying, do you remember the first vintage card you ever picked up, right? That was the question.
Yeah.
One was given to me, my first vintage card, a 62 Maze. And the reason why was a friend of mine owed me money. And I was like 18, somewhere around there. And I loaned him $50. He couldn't pay me back. So he gives me Willie Mays instead to pay me back. First vintage card. ever. I thought it was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And like 3 years later, this was around like maybe 93. Frank Thomas is like a god, like literally a god. So I traded it for the Leaf Frank Thomas.
Oh my God.
And then because the card was worth more than the Frank Thomas, the guy throws in a Chuck Knobloch rookie as the kicker.
Like,
and I accepted it.
Chuck
My biggest
Knobloch!
regretful trade in my life, a 62 Mays for a Leaf rookie Frank Thomas.
You probably thought you ripped him off too. You're like, I can't believe he did that trade.
Do you still have the Frank Thomas or the Chuck Knobloch?
I have the Frank Thomas, and the Knobloch is wedged under a table to even it out.
Then it's almost better than the 62 because now you have the additional story to go along, and you'll never sell those two cards now, ever.
I still wish I had that 62.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? It goes back to what George was talking about earlier. You know, you wanted the guy you watched play. That would be like somebody trading a Michael Jordan for a Luka. You know,
Right,
but they want the Luka more.
No, and then the thing is, like, Leaf was so much more valuable than the Tops or the Score. So that Leaf was like, I don't know, $35 at the time. And it was almost the same. Like, and then Chuck Knobloch came out like gangbusters his first 2 years.
He got the
I thought he was solid. Yeah. And
okay, James, I'm gonna blow your mind.
Guys, I gotta get going.
Well, not what's the like? They might have been equal money wise, but what's equal money wise isn't a. You know, I just bought a series of like phenomenal, super rare cards, and I paid a tiny fraction collectively than what somebody would pay for a PSA 10 1986 Tops. Like, it just blows my mind. I'm not putting anybody down. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. Makes no sense. Say, see these cert numbers? I sent that Frank Thomas in at the same time as my Bob Gibson. So I'm connected with you, James, forever now. That was a very special card. I got this from my dad. I guess from my parents, but they bought me a set of 1990 Leaf, probably in 91 when it took off, or 90. I'm not sure when it took off in value, but it was like $200. And it was the most expensive gift I ever got from them. My dad doesn't even remember to this day, but this is the card from it. And I sent this other meaningful card at the same time. My first PSA submission, probably in the 90s. Boom. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up the whole video.
Mr. Fisher Bike is in the house.
Fisher, I got one for you. Hold on.
What's
Fish,
up, Kevin?
you gotta take me. I gotta have the camera back one more time for Fish. Okay. One more time.
By the way, did I miss Lou say goodbye?
Yeah, Lou said goodbye. He went peace out.
Oh man, I was reading
I
comments.
missed that too.
No, but
Fish gave me this at the National. Thanks, Jason.
Oh, that's sweet.
Appreciate it. Goes on my set too because I don't have
Jason
one from this year.
I ended up with all kind of Tim Salmon cards in my collection for some reason.
Yeah, he was the man. That's why. That was bomber. There we go. Now there's a.
Oh,
card.
here we go. Let's.
That KSA.
First graded mantle.
Oh,
SCD
shit.
Sports Collectors Digest. Man,
I still have a few of those.
Centering a 5.
I still have a few of those.
Surface an 8.
Dude, all
You
those
can
old grading
circle that
companies had such great. They always used the 4.
Rick, did you get rid of your flip phone because you're way clearer now?
Yeah.
You're way more clear.
Oh, sick, Rick.
Oh, he's in California. They must have turned off the solar energy.
Pay our bills here, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, everybody's quiet.
Well, kid,
Hey, we
I
have
plenty to
no.
say, but I'm
NY
trying to
Yanks
be
fan
quiet.
7 in the building. Hey, Vince, you want to join and show us some coins?
Oh man,
Hey Dylan, you on that Gibson and the other card. What was the Gibson and what else did you show?
Frank Thomas.
Those cert numbers I noticed are sequential, right? Isn't the Gibson
Yeah, exactly.
7-2?
Yeah,
And
I
the
have.
Frank Thomas 5.
Yeah, I sent 5 cards in that order.
Nice. Yeah, I love
Were
the
they
fact
great?
that
I didn't look at the numbers the first time around.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
I was just looking at the cards.
172 and 175. And then I have the ones in between,
See?
but I sold one. Oh, there we go. 4-leaf.
No, what are the? Oh,
Prop-
there we go. Yeah, I have one of those.
4-leaf.
I have 2 of those, I think.
I got one. Ah, I should have put my
Hey,
picture.
see, nice, Rick.
I came home with everybody's Don Mattingly rookie card somehow.
Not
Somebody's
mine.
missing one.
Not mine.
Did you get a Nestle rookie card? A Nestle?
Oh no, man! I do have Nestle, but I don't have it. Wait, I think I have one in my collection of Nestle.
Yeah.
Or
That's
it
the rare
might be
one.
it might be Darryl Strawberry, but I definitely have a Nestle.
And I think it's
I have a
hand
couple. You know what I have, George? I have an unsheet, I have an uncut sheet of Nestle.
Nice.
In fact, I think I might have the whole set in uncut sheets. I have them rolled and put away. Yeah, I bought them for like $15 or
Yeah,
something.
well, I'm wondering what you do about these uncut sheets. I came across a guy. We got it there.
Dylan's card approved.
Is that a
Oh,
sapphire?
yeah. Oh, that's one I gave you. I thought that was a PSA card. I didn't even realize that was mine. That's sick.
You gave
George,
it
go
a
ahead.
93 for centering. That's why you gave it to me.
93. That's
Four-leaf
pretty
is,
good.
four-leaf is empty.
Anything over
Okay.
90, you can't really tell when you first look at it.
Do you guys have any uncut sheets?
Yes. I have an 85 tops. The whole set uncut.
The whole
Yeah.
set?
Nice.
That's like a whole. That's a whole wall.
I have the I have a few uncuts, but my first one I got, I remember I paid $15 for it at a mall show. It's a 1982 tops, and I put it in. They make top loaders for them. Believe it or not, they're like this big.
Wow.
And I stuck it to my wall. You know what I did? I got, if you have them, you buy those big top loaders, and you get those wall hangers that are Velcro. They just peel right off, but they're secure. And just put the Velcro to the back of the top loader, and you can hang it real easily. And you can take it off anytime you want, without damaging the cards.
Well, yeah, I wonder about
Can you
that.
get James a 100-foot one?
They're not cheap. Those big top loaders are a little pricey, but what else are you going to do with them? Because you don't want to take them, like some people will take, in the old days, they take their collectibles to a frame shop or something, but those people, they're not used to handling cards and stuff. They're going to damage it.
Yeah,
I was
they
try-
charge
I was
you
trying
$20.
to- I was
And those
trying to-
uncut
that
sheets,
thing's
because they
crazy.
roll, they're so hard to get in the top loader. It takes 2 people.
That thing's
But then
insane.
once it's in there, they'll straighten out.
Well, I had a guy I came across, and he had a couple of star, not 85 Jordan, but like 83, 84 star uncut sheets. And it was riddled with Dr. J's and Magics and Birds and Kareem's. And it's like, what do you do with this? I made the guy an offer, and he sold it for like 3 or 4 times as much, which is fine because they're very valuable. But I couldn't figure out what to do with it. Like, how do you? Is it a display piece? Some
Yeah,
people
man.
cut-
They're so awesome looking in your card room, though.
Yeah, I would. I mean, he ended up selling it for like kind of an obscene amount of money because it was Star. It was even before Star became big again.
Imagine
But
that.
you kind of wonder though, what do you do with it? Like, you don't want to like roll it. I mean, no offense, James. You like roll it up and put it away, unless you're going to sell it.
Your friend just
collector.
rolled his up and put it away.
Well, I
No,
have
but
the
he's-
one that's
Just kidding.
He's a dealer. He could sell it too, But as a collector like John, you want to like display it, don't you? It's kind of.
I have my one, from when I was young hanging. I have it displayed. The other ones, I mean, I just don't have enough space now. When I get out of here and I'm going to put together a retreat place, right? I'm going to get a place out in the country, and it's going to be like sports card retreat by invite. And we're going to do what we did in Strongsville.
Oh,
We're gonna have a
wow.
museum there.
Whoa.
We're going to have our
Yeah.
wiffle ball field and all that kind of shit. And I'm just going to invite people to be by invite only.
Sounds pretty epic.
This sounds like the greatest thing ever.
Sounds
honestly.
pretty epic.
No, this sounds like the great. Like we talked in Strongsville about the price of the place we stayed in.
Yeah.
Was like, and it was not, cheap, but it was like cheap.
It was pretty cheap.
Anyway, it was a wonderful place. But like you have like sports card therapy and retreat. Workshop.
Yeah. So imagine that with like a little card museum in the back, a built-in, wiffle ball field, and you have the bonfire at night and all that kind of stuff. That's what I want to do.
Sign me up.
It'll be a private museum, and then we could trade and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
John, this is genius.
So it'll be like a retreat. So every year I'll have a card retreat.
But you wouldn't keep your cards there like the whole time, no? Because you're not going to be there all the time.
Well,
No, I plan on being there all the time. I'm just going to move out the country, get away from all this craziness.
Okay.
I'm going off the grid, bro.
This sounds outstanding. Rick would even go.
Yeah, I'm going to have a separate house in the back. I got it all mapped out. I just got to do it because, I wanted to make a museum, but, this world's crazy now. There's thefts every day. I ain't doing it. I ain't putting my cards at risk like that. No way.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it is a real thing. But I don't want to get negative.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm not opening to the public. No way.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't.
I totally changed my mind when I started to see all this theft.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about that either before I got on?
No, we didn't
Theft
touch on that.
or that. No.
There's been a couple thefts here in Phoenix of sports car dealers, and basically what people are doing is that they're casing them at shows, waiting till after the show and following them home, and they're not. And then they eat, and then they break into their houses and they broke into their storage facilities. It's serious, man. It's like you got to protect your stuff.
I mean, they're breaking into the professional football players' homes, and you see them just drive their car right through the front door of a card store.
No, these thefts happened during a card show. Like they knew they were gone, and they went to their house while they knew they were at the card show. Like this is serious. Like it's been.
George, I don't care what anybody says because I get on these, I have these debates with people, and they'll be like, "Oh, this shit always happened. It happened in the '80s. There was card trimming. There was this. There was that." Sure, there was, and there was crime too, but not like today. I mean, it's way more today, and there's way more to gain today. Like you aren't gonna make $1 million overnight stealing at a card show back in the '80s or '90s.
Well,
you steal from Ash, you might have you have $1 million cards.
I've shared this with some of you, but I was victimized in September at Long Beach. I was burglarized. My car was burglarized, and I had left inventory in the car. The expensive stuff was in my room, and then that night at the hotel underneath the lights with like right in the middle of the hotel parking lot, like literally like 30 feet from the front desk. Somebody broke my window the first day of football season. And I just wanted to wake up the next day after doing the show and drive home on Sunday and listen to the Cardinals. And they stole about $14,000 worth of inventory. And I was able to make a claim, and it worked out after months and months. But, they didn't even take like the total amount of the stuff that was in my car. And again, I'm not trying to be a bummer. I want to hear.
No, this is what's going on now.
I mean, like, and now recently in Arizona, there was a show. I mean, recently 2 big time dealers have been hit, and it's not just hit at their house; they've been hit at their storage units. Like these are like dudes that are on eBay, and like they're and so like we all have to be concerned about stuff at shows now. And I told a local dealer last week at a show, I said, you need to make an announcement about people being mindful about this, because now that you're liable because you have a show and somebody follows you home or whatever. I'm just saying, like, this is it used to be like, here's an example. This Willie Mays card, it's a 3.5, it's centered, it's nice. This used to be literally, I bought this from Probstein for $75, right?
Yeah.
Now the card's probably like $400. But I mean, like these little pieces of plastic have become so fungible, easily stolen.
I'll give you $475 for that card right now.
It's centered.
Sell it.
I'm not selling.
Let's do a live
I'll
sale.
give you 475. You said it was with 400. I'll give you 475, George. We
I
need to
will
talk
think about
after.
that. I have
Hey,
your
let's-
number.
I would
Hey,
like
guys,
to see that card.
George, listen, let's make this fun. Let's
to
do a
see that.
break. Okay, George, you grab 4 other cards with that. Dylan, you give him $125. And George, you pick out a card that you'll send to him. And it might be that one, and it might be shit.
You're talking to me like I'm Dylan's age and I'm spry and not coming off a hip replacement.
Hey,
and my God,
so you know,
kinds of
put
I
George
got
back
it.
on the big screen in that Willie Mays. I want to see that card because I know George got sharp cards, and I've been looking. For
I
that
got
card.
one Dylan wants. I have the same card.
Yeah, and MC.
Go
I've
ahead,
seen
George.
yours.
Let
I've
me
seen
see
yours,
yours
Rick.
first.
Welcome to the stage, George. Please tip your waitresses.
That is beautiful. What's it?
Yeah.
3.5.
Yeah, George, that's right up my alley. If you've seen my 55s, they all look exactly like that. All of
Hey,
them.
George, I'll buy that from you.
Well, I have to get it reholdered because PSA reholdered it and they messed it up a little bit.
Meaning what?
And they got to
What does that
reholder it.
mean?
Because I don't really care if it's.
What do you mean they messed it up?
dog-eared the back. They dog-eared the back,
Oh,
and they got
gotcha.
to like
Oh,
put it back
God.
down.
Well,
They're
Why do
being
they do that shit?
I'll buy it
because
either way. I'll
That
buy it
is
because-
dog
so
eared.
annoying to me.
There's 19-year-olds who are slabbing 1955 centered mazes. That's what they're doing.
Dylan, I have a 7 for the same
Oh.
price.
MC. I've
If
seen
George
yours.
is going to sell it, it's
Yeah,
a 7.
Hey, Rick,
Okay.
is it miscut?
yeah, it is. I've
Show it
seen
to me,
it.
I'll buy it.
Put it on the board. It's sharp. Put it on the full screen, John. You know, those are the cards I used to buy.
That's
But
a beautiful.
I would
card.
do top to bottom centering though when I would buy mine, not side to side.
Well, the
But it's
53
beautiful.
maze.
It's a beautiful card.
The 53 maze is extremely tough on the centering. It really is.
Absolutely,
More than any other. Like the Aarons are okay, the Jackies are okay. The maze is.
dude. The Clemente is worse than the Maze. Clemente's is the worst out of the
I
bunch.
think the maze is worse, but
No way, no
And
chance.
again, you know, and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna
Hey,
segue. John.
hey, George had a centered Clemente. I almost bought it from him at the National.
Yeah, you
It
know what
wasn't
happened.
it wasn't dead centered. I almost bought that
I've
from him, but it
sold
wasn't
both of
perfect.
them.
Mine was
All
better.
right, Dylan. All right, Dylan. You say it wasn't dead centered. Which one were you going to buy, John? I had a 2 and a 2.5. Which one were you going to buy?
I can't remember. I think it
They
was the
both look good.
2.5. Wasn't
Well,
it? Or was it the
I
2?
traded the 2 to a guy in Anaheim at the West Coast Card Show in August. He came back in Ontario at the West Coast Card Show in the fall, in the spring here. He was so delighted. He sauntered up to me. I said, Edison. His name's Edison. He's a nice, really super nice young man. I said, do you still have that Clemente? He says, oh, yeah. He says, let me show you this. And he got Mike Baker to look at it, and he gave it a gold diamond. And I thought,
Holy shit.
It was
Mike
really
Baker?
nice looking. It was very
Diamond
nice.
Yard Sports Cards is giving you gold diamonds. Come on.
I
I
know.
told you it was not.
Hey, George, I remember how long I looked at it? I looked at it for like 7 hours. Like every day
I
picked it
told
up.
you.
But I
I
had
told
it
you.
already. But I already
Right.
had one. And mine looks nicer. But
I
yours
know,
that was
I know.
incredible.
I'll
It
tell
was
you the
incredible.
truth, George. When I want to buy a card, like if I'm on eBay or I'm at a card show, I will not buy it until I send Mike Baker a picture and ask him if it's all right.
Well, I know you have them.
He only charges me $150 every time I reach out to him.
Well, you know, this is the truth, though. Like, it's like, you know, I know that you and I are experienced, and Rick and Dylan and James, and I don't need somebody to tell me when the card looks nice. But, you know, it makes me as a dealer feel good when my client is super happy with the
Absolutely.
card and he submitted it to them and they said, yeah, it's a gold diamond. Okay. You know, it does. I mean, I sold the card 6 months ago. The card I got back in trade, I've already Upper Deck Heroes Ted Williams. I've already moved the card. It's fine, but I want him to be happy with the card. So if that takes,
Yeah, well, as a dealer, I mean, you're crazy not to get high grades and get Mike Baker stickers because for whatever reason, people pay a fortune for them.
That's
James is busting out a gold diamond right now.
Not high grade, more just diamonds. Like
Look
this.
at the centering, Dylan. Look at the centering.
It's off center,
It's off center to the top.
but it's still beautiful.
I mean,
It's a
left to
beautiful-
right,
that's beautiful.
it's not fit, but that is the green
It's
is such a
beautiful.
tough thing.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking up and down. But like, I'm not a fanatic like Dylan. Dylan's a freak of nature.
That card is James. That card is like 60-40, 45-55. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
With the
pretty-
new PSA standards, it's now a 1.
But it's a diamond in the rough, that card. And that's a diamond in the rough.
and that green
I
is
think
always messed up.
6 OC prices, six prices all day. I don't.
James, what
for
do
crap.
4s go for in that now?
Probably around. Well, it's all subject to centering, but probably around like 28 to 3 if it's centered.
Dude, that thing right there, you're talking 4,500, $5,000. I guarantee you.
Not
You
four.
put that on eBay, you're getting $4,000 for that. I follow that card all the time. I watch those ones that look bonkers. I mean, I'd have to look at it closer. It might have a little diamond on it, but that's for a Clemente. That's like, for my eyes, that's a really nice one. George,
I
want
was
that
in
really
between
nice.
both of you guys. I was thinking like 3250 to 30, like 500.
I'm thinking
It's
higher.
It's a nice card. Dylan, you can buy it.
I already got one. It's nice. I'm good. I'm
Hey,
done.
Rick, what?
I almost
Rick
got
knows-
yours because I looked at it
hold
so
on.
long.
Rick knows this now. You don't need. You can have more than one.
I got
Rick knows that.
one of too many others. Oh man.
Hey, Rick, let's do a
George, I'm
live
buying
sale.
that
What else
card.
you have? What are you selling? Let's do a live sale right now.
Yeah, George, I'm buying that Willie Mason from you if it's for sale. And you said you wanted 4. I'll give you 475. Not even. I don't know VCPs. I don't know comps. I just think that's.
Hey,
worth
George,
it.
I'll give you $5 more than whatever Dylan offers you.
I'll go. I'd go.
Dylan,
475.
give me a second, and I'll get back with you. I was going to send it back to PSA and have them
I don't
rehold
need it
it.
sent
You're
back.
good with it.
Leave it as is, man. Done. I've been looking for that card for a long time.
Come on, Rick wants to flip some cards. Rick, what do you have to sell?
Oh, get some. You want me to sell some?
Yeah, sure. Let's sell
Now.
some cards. Here we go, guys.
George, I won't even look. I don't need. I would send you Venmo.
Let's do
while
an
we're on
auction.
the phone. While we're
Who has
here.
a good auctioneer voice?
475.
Actually, I was low on that, but anyway.
I just said 475 without looking.
Text me.
Okay. Text you.
We'll talk.
Text me. Okay.
There you
But
go,
I mean, like,
Mookie.
text me. We'll talk. Like, we can
Okay,
talk.
sounds good.
Mookie's probably an auctioneer.
Oh, shit, James. Really?
I'm selling my air card here.
Oh, I thought you sent that off.
Not yet. Bonds air card.
Okay, so here we have.
Oh yeah,
the
you got to
Barry
sell that
Bonds.
baby.
This is the Barry Bonds error. This is Johnny Ray pictured, and it has it has a little ding on this corner,
Yep.
which makes it
right
which,
there.
which accounts for the grade.
Oh,
Otherwise, it's nice.
It's
That could
very,
be-
very rare.
spoon that
Do
thing
I have
out.
500? Do I have 500?
That
Do I
thing's
have
gone.
250?
Nobody wants that in this chat.
Do I have 20?
That's an eBay card, Rick.
No, I want that card.
Oh, you do. Well, you should.
I don't
scoop that
want
thing.
to pay what it goes for, but I want the
How
card.
about a
because-
spick and span?
Oh, I want that, Rick. No, take that down. Take that down. Text me the price.
Oh, we got 3 dealers on here.
No, I've been
One
looking for that
flipper,
card.
2 dealers.
Text me that
Let's see
price.
some more.
Hold on. I'll
Okay.
give you 400 for that.
Are you kidding? That's low.
What is it? Wait.
No, I don't know if it's low. Well,
We can
That'll-
do
How
this.
about a
We can do
mother's
this.
cookie?
I
How
was
about a
looking at
mother's
a
cookie?
7.
Chuck
Who
Connor.
is it?
We got. Hey,
The
Petty's
rifleman.
bidding 425.
So I just can't pay the money that commands for
Shut
a guy who
up.
had won it back because he was on the Rifleman 28
James, you have a Maris from that year?
50 some years ago or 60 70 some years ago.
Right there, Roger Maris post back.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I
can't
am
look
looking
at that.
for an Artie Wilson.
A damage on it. By his
How about a lake to lake?
What damage?
Why are you
I'll
so
buy that.
Looks
Where
like
do you
there's
see
like a
the
wall in it.
damage?
Why
Those
not
aren't that
Rick?
wide?
We want
Those
How
aren't
about,
Chris's?
how
And
about
it's
a
not the
lace?
one that's
size.
the reprint.
Hold on, John. I'm interested in this Roger Maris over here. If there's
Rick,
really
you know I'm a
in
Hank
it.
guy. What do you want?
All right, it's trade night. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, put them up big. Rick, what was that last one?
A lake to lake. Hank Aaron.
Okay.
What do you want for it, Rick?
Oh, you're selling that, huh?
I don't know. This is pretty good, big money though.
I want
What does
the
that mean?
57.
I can
There's
get
a
more- I
lawyer.
can
There's
get
a
more
lawyer
on
on this,
Protein,
man.
man.
Throw it
Or
up.
not the 57. What year is that? I want that spick and span.
How about
It's
that?
a 60.
60, right? Yeah.
I got that one for sale.
I have the what do I? I
I
have.
don't
a
have
bill.
5 bills, bro.
I don't want that one.
Oh,
Hey,
you
bro, you
just man, you're flipping that. You just got that like an hour ago.
That was good.
How about a rabbit Moranville?
Ooh.
Oh man, you know
Wow.
what? Dan's vintage wants that. Is Dan on here? He's
These
a
things
rabbit
are
collector.
on fire.
Yeah.
What do you?
George, what do you got there? George, pull out some more center tops cards, man. Get in my jam.
No, this is
Mike
guys,
Petty
this
wants
is
to
a-
know how much for the rabbit.
This is a Michael Jordan Fabric Reflections,
Mike Petty wants
number
to buy
to 50.
everything.
It's
I don't
Jordan.
do-
It's
I
you don't want it.
I don't do jersey cards.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what?
it's-
Mike Petty
it's-
just
it's
bought
3
YouTube,
Jordan
so
jerseys.
he
You don't
can
want
buy
it.
everything.
It's
I
no
don't
good. It's trash.
No good.
No good. It's terrible. I don't do that.
How about a 1.5 Lou Alcindor rookie?
There we go.
Hey, we have a question. Is it a 1914 or 15 Cracker Jack? That
Oh,
rabbit.
If
Oh,
it
that
was
was-
14, he couldn't afford it. It's a
Yeah,
15.
that's a 15. Too nice.
Yeah, 14 is tough. I'll be right back.
Are you grabbing some center tops cards, George? Is that where you're going?
Cards. I'll grab some.
Ooh. Hey, put James up.
Is that Stargell?
Yeah, that looks centered. Put James up on there. Looking
Oh,
for
you're
that card.
just teasing. Oh no, that's Oliva.
Oliva.
It's an 8.
Too high.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. looking.
I don't notice numbers.
I'm not going for that 8.
How about this one?
No.
I haven't.
No,
Otherwise, I'd want
if it was Lefty O'Doul or Ted Williams, I'd be in.
That's Lefty Grove.
Yeah, I don't want Lefty Grove.
He's no good.
Oh, he's good. I got one. Lefty O'Doul is my guy on Baseball Stars, so that's the guy. And he
How
definitely
about a
connected.
Tiffany Don Mattingly?
Yeah, that's like 5 bills. Yeah,
That's a modern card, isn't it?
I would love to have that card, but I'd be looking for a lower number.
I don't. I never buy Tiffany's.
I got a Walter Payton. How about that?
I have that in
Want
a
a
10.
football
Believe it or
card?
not. Believe it or not, I actually have that in a 10.
I believe it.
Hey, where's Rick? So Penny wants price on the rabbit, man.
Petty, yes. James,
Duke, how
I want to
dare
see
you?
that
How
61
dare you,
Maris.
Duke?
Show me that 61 Maris out of the
Who has
slab.
a wrench? Somebody block Stuke.
Oh man, that Campy looks nice.
Hey, what is that?
What is that?
That's a Sporting News stamp.
Lefty O'Doul?
No, Lou Gehrig, man. Come on.
Is that a newspaper cutout?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty sick. You're keeping that.
No, I'm selling it.
Oh wow.
So James, that's the Roger Maris out of Life magazine, right?
Yeah, the
Hey,
post.
Yeah.
hey, John, can you put James on the big screen? James, can you take that card out of that saver? Looks messed up.
Hey,
to
James,
me,
sell some cards. I
The
need to
blind?
refresh my drink.
but what is that next to his face? The Y? Is that part of the picture?
Yeah, that's the
It
back.
is, huh? Oh wow. Okay, I thought that was a crease.
No,
Is that
What's the back?
that's
is
this,
that-
this corner right
I don't care. I don't care about the corners. It looks really nice. Is that 61?
Yeah, but you could cut it to the black line and it'll get like a 10 or something.
So that's a hand cut.
Yeah.
What are you asking for that? Because I don't know what those go for. I know they're not that expensive normally, but I don't know what your hopes and dreams on that.
I honestly haven't taken the time out to price it. Like I haven't
Okay.
had price on my cards, but I could shoot you a text.
Yeah, let's text about that one because I'm interested in this. That's the only one I want from that set.
And I'll even sign it for you, Roger Maris, so you'll have the autograph version.
Let's not do that one. That is a beautiful.
That's centered.
Yeah, I'd keep that one in my collection. I have that card.
Let me see what I got.
If it ain't Elite Hunters, it ain't shit.
Hey, everyone in the chat saying
That's
that one.
nice too.
That's a nice.
Yeah,
one
is
right
that the
there,
paper
man.
loss? That's the paper loss, Hank Aaron, right?
No,
What's on the
it's
back?
no paper loss on it.
What's wrong with it?
It's got a bend, so the bend doesn't break the card, so you don't see it. But like you don't see it even like it's not like a crease. It's got.
I will buy that from you, James. So also put that in the text thread for me and you. I will buy that from you.
Jesus Christ!
I have that card, but that card's very hard to find like that.
I'm
Put
not
me
gonna
on the screen. Oh, that's a nice 3.
That's a nice Maris and a nice 53. Let me leave that Maris. I'm always into that. I'm always into more Maris 61s.
Let me see. This is a nice one.
I have it. I'm good. I got a 7-2, I think.
That's a great card. Frank
Yeah,
Rob
it's such a
is
classic.
underrated.
Yeah, such a sick card. Wait,
Oh,
show me that. Show me the 61 Maris.
I got. I'm like the.
You had it in your hand. It was a 5.
Hey, James, if we go all night, you won't have to go to the National.
Yeah, I buy them all right now.
It's a 5.
I'll pass.
Oh dang!
Side to
Off
side,
center.
man.
That ring was totally
I can't do the side to side, James. Even through the screen, you know, I still gotta look at these in a thread, but I already have that card dead centered in a 4 too.
Wow. Tough crowd.
Tough over here. Black and white. Move along. I'm just kidding.
That's not a card.
Rough crowd.
Dude, that's the one I'm looking for. Pull that up. That's a little OC.
It's not your grade. Forget it. You
It
don't
looks
want
really
it.
nice. Yeah, I'm looking for a more center one, but that one's nice. 53, I'm more lenient on, and that's a card I need again. I just sold mine. I bought one from Don.
Oh yeah, Don had a sweetheart.
Yeah, I got that one in my collection.
I finally sold his 50 Bowman Yogi, and it pained me to sell
Oh
it.
gosh.
It was a 5, and it was dead on.
Oh my gosh. I wonder why I didn't see that one when I was at the house.
You were too busy in the hot tub frolicking around.
I was making trades in that hot tub too. So
Good point.
All right, who else? Rick, what do you got?
Well, I do have the Mel Ott.
let me see. Oh wow, that's a nice one.
That's a nice one.
It's the same one James just showed, but nicer. Sorry, James.
Oh, damn.
Hey, it's a 5.
I'll
Maybe
sticker
here's a
that
tough
for you.
card.
That's nice.
61 L Adels, card 1 in the set.
If you
That's
do,
nice.
you get a wilt you're gonna sell.
I do have a will that I'm not selling.
George only buys the best of the best.
Hey, how about this?
Love
I'll buy
that.
from you.
How about this right here?
Oh, that is
This
insane.
ticket,
What is
memorial ticket, 41.
that? No way.
Oh, wow.
That's really awesome. Wait,
Yeah,
tell me what.
1941 Lou Gehrig Memorial, July 4th.
Nice.
Gosh.
Did you guys see on Heritage they had a lot of Lou Gehrig stuff on their auction? Their Platinum Night auction. You see that?
I didn't.
Now they had a Yingling Gehrig in an 8. They had some Type 1 photos. They had all kinds of cool stuff.
You
guys
saw
got-
that Yingling.
Was that in their catalog? The little mini catalog? I only get the mini catalog.
Yeah, they sent the catalog out.
Oh, I probably saw it then.
How about a James Ryan?
Oh, and that's a nice
Wow.
card. That's a nice
sick.
card.
Dang, Rick. You
How much? You're not
you
giving
got a
prices,
lot of,
Rick.
you got a lot of stuff to
I have a
sell.
price. I don't know. I'm going to send them off, man.
What do you think people just are gonna give you huge offers? What are you asking?
I don't know.
All right, let's do
I haven't really priced them.
People will see it at least.
DOND.
People will see it. You put it in the title.
Deal or no deal. Deal or no deal. Make offers.
Me and George and I, we made a deal. At least it will be a deal, even if we change the price. I'm fine with that. James, I would like to buy both those
leaders
cards.
card.
Yeah, put that on the video.
Oh man,
that's
Rick,
way too high of a grade for me.
Rick,
That's
How
a,
about this one?
the card story is giving it to you.
that's a $35 card, George, in my mind.
8.5.
I won't buy a
Are
leader's
you
card
selling
for
that,
$40.
Rick?
Dude, show me a
selling
3.3 in that. Hey, Rick, let me see that. What do you got?
Are you
That's
selling that?
Sarahara.
Marshall pre-rookie.
Oh, I
Rick,
thought it was
put
Sarahara.
that
It
away.
looked like a Manko card.
Oh, he kicked Rick out.
Oh man, we lost him.
Put that away. That's my card.
Oh, there we go. John's bought 2 cards tonight too. If you guys haven't been keeping up, what do we got there?
Venezuelan tops, Marichal,
Wow.
Koufax leaders, Venezuelan tops.
2 off center for my blood. 2 off center
It's
for
a
my blood.
Venezuelan Dylan.
Dylan is
I don't care if there's one in the world that thinks 2 off center for me.
I just picked that card up too.
You don't understand. It's a Venny.
I got Vennies that are centered, so I understand.
No, they're probably 1s and 2s.
They're dead centered, and they're one's a 4 and one's like a 2.5. Want me to show you?
Who is that of Al Kaline? Who's that of? Is that Harmon
Okay, so
Killebrew?
they're saying grading standards have changed. You can't expect the same price you did last week. You gotta discount them.
I got 2 Vennies, George.
Which is exactly why I will grade right before I sell them. Because
This
even
is
though he's joking, there's some truth to that.
Duke's dead centered.
Okay.
Are you selling that, Dylan?
But these technically aren't Vennies, I heard. I heard they're like photocopies now.
No, those are Vennies. Those are
And
nice
then
Vennies.
this one's not dead center, but it's pretty dang
There
nice.
you go. There you go.
Who told you they're
No.
not Vennies?
I learned that from Darren's brother. Basically, these weren't
misinformation. That
okay.
is
Hold on.
absolutely.
I believe he was on to something. I believe these were literally. I don't think these were made from the same company that made the rest of the Venezuelans. And how he explained it, I'm telling you, I actually think he discovered. Look, I'm not any expert on any of this stuff at all.
Well, I'm okay.
But
so
it's something to look into
what's
if you
the
haven't seen the video.
what was
Okay,
the-
so it could be
Breaking news.
because first of all, those are the only ones that don't have the same backs as the tops.
Thank
They're
you.
the only ones that have grates in the set. And we can look to the 1977 Venezuelans too. They're blank back. Those look like they're made from a different company, and they do look like photocopy. That doesn't mean the cards didn't come from Venezuela, though.
No, very true. Very true. But these say
It just means that
tops.
they weren't tops Venezuelan.
Yeah, they say tops Venezuelan.
Yeah.
They
But I
definitely
mean, the
came
grading
from
companies, do you
Venezuela.
know how many cards I have that are mislabeled? I mean, they don't know. They don't know anything.
Well,
no,
James,
that Venezuelan he has that's a Venezuelan Yastrzemski.
They probably still put 1948 on the leaf cards, don't they?
is it tops?
Did
though?
they start
Was
putting
it-
49?
George, is it
It only
tops?
took them 50 years.
The Venezuelan tops
The same.
Yastrzemski from his MVP Triple Crown year. It's a
Yeah.
great card. If
Yeah,
you
but-
want to sell that, you can throw that into the Willie Mays deal, and we'll work on it.
Yeah, man, we still want
Not
it,
selling this.
even if it's fake.
No, it's not. It's not
It-
fake. I don't know. Again, I think that the
I
who's
would
giving
sell
you
this.
information-
I would
It's
sell this.
slab, so it
knowledge.
can't be fake.
I'm telling you, those look real, and I think they are. So I
No.
mean,
I think they're real too.
Okay. The
But,
Venezuelans themselves, these ones.
Well, I mean, I don't know that they're tops Venezuela.
That's what I
it's
mean.
a 67 tops Venezuelan. They look like that. I have a Sandy Koufax. The back looks the same. I have a
Yes,
couple other.
but George, I think you're missing the point. I'm not saying mine in particular. We're not saying mine are fake. We're saying the 67 tops Venezuelans aren't produced by the same company that produced the rest of the Venezuelan tops cards, right, John? That's the program I'm on.
I would buy that because both the 67 and the 77. Do you know what the 77 looks like?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, both of them look enlarged.
Yeah.
And
And
they
images
don't look
like
the same.
this.
Where the other tops cards look exactly the same.
Yes. Yes. And these
And
look
that is
photocopied.
up.
These look
Okay,
photocopied.
there is a
compared to-
discrepancy because 68 Venezuelans have a yellow back just like 68 tops. However, like 64 tops Venezuelans have a black back.
But
and it
they
looks
have
totally
the back,
different.
Yeah,
not
but they
this,
still have-
not a
they
made
still
up
have
back.
the regular
Four
tops back.
Venezuelans
I'm not talking color back. I'm
Yeah.
talking the regular back. Like it looks the same.
Tops
Might be a
back.
different color, but that doesn't look anything like a Topps card.
pretty. That's the common though. That's the back. I mean,
No,
they you're right.
But
They look
why is that the only year?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
See,
Well,
the thing
well-
is they made those in '68 too.
67
right?
top.
So why would they just
67
skip
non.
1 year? Now, Dylan, it is possible that Topps teamed up with a different company that 1 year. I mean, that's possible.
Totally. I don't know.
Unlikely, but it's
I'm just-
possible.
Seeing a video I saw.
Like I'm saying, the 77s. Hold on a second.
there's
All
your-
right. You might be putting that in my pile, James.
It's not centered. You don't want this.
Yeah, well, Venny's I do give a little. I'm not crazy, but yours is like too far off. That's too far off for me.
I have a team card too.
Don't
I've
throw
seen
your-
that. I've seen that one, George, before. I missed on an auction, and maybe it might have been that one. No, that one's. I love that card though. Love that card.
Anyway, so yeah, it's. I think that it's perfectly fine. I think whoever was telling you something, like here's a McCovey for you, Rick, and a 4. And the back looks like a 68 Topps card.
Yeah.
The Venny backs, though, for the 68 Topps cards look a little bit more rich. And John, by the way, I just picked up a Venny sticker, Nolan Ryan. Yeah, those are super tough. That Reggie you just showed is awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, this was the 77, and let me zoom in. So I never thought about this before. I just never even thought about it. But now that he mentions it, it would not surprise me. So this is see how it's cut short, just like the 67. It doesn't have full borders, and then it's blank back.
Well, here's a
But if you
Johnny
look at the
Bench.
other-
Here's a Johnny Bench, John.
But if you look at the other Venezuelans, here's 64. Somebody,
come on, don't do that.
Yeah,
to
you had to rub that one in.
Don't do that. Come
some
on, bro.
That is so
Yeah.
unfair, man. Come
Some
on,
unscrupulous dealers really handed it to me on this one. But you can see it as this. It's different color, but it has the same back. Now if we go to the next year.
Kick me right in the nuts.
Me too, because I was gonna buy that if he didn't.
That was a good deal.
That was a great one. I remember the prize too.
So if we go to
Prize.
these are 66. So if you flip them over, they have the same back as Topps. So you go to 67, we know what that looks like. So let me find a 68.
No, the 67s look different.
Yeah, so the 67s, here's two, for instance, and they both have a totally different back. It looks nothing like the Topps backs.
I love that Joe
Here's
Morgan,
a
by the way.
64.
One of my favorite cards of his.
Like all my 64s have Topps backs. And where's my 68s? Uh-oh, somebody stole my 68s. They're out of order.
Dude, I completely forgot Darren's brother's name, but he's in the chat. And he said they have completely made up bios in 1967 only. And he's the one who made the video.
And I understand that, but it doesn't mean that they weren't like the official issue.
Yeah,
Okay,
I guess not.
problem.
I mean, I don't know.
Like but 67 is frankly probably the most rare and the biggest issue. 59 is important. But like 67 has the Retirados, which has the most probably prominent Koufax card and cool Koufax card
sure.
that exists.
Yeah, but George.
It also has the satchel, and the satchel's a big deal. And the
George,
Jack
why
is a
is
great
67 the only one with all-time greats?
Yeah, it does, and but the cards there are really the satchel is really a valuable card.
Okay, I have a problem. I lost some of my 68s. Anyway, the 68, it has the same back. Again, it has a Topps back. Uh-oh.
But I will say Venezuelan cards they're some of them they grow on me. They grow. I almost won a Willie Mays this week and I lost it by $2. And
what do you trade me for that, Dylan?
I know what you paid, so
I will
pay
go to your retreat and buy it back from you.
Yeah, exactly. I would pay what you paid for it straight from you plus 200.
No, I'm going to give you a couple $100.
Yeah, I said 200. Oh, he's trying to up it.
Maybe a back massage. I don't know.
He's frozen.
John went straight.
You know, after that card that night, seeing that, and then John bought it. As I was at the National, I looked at. They had 3 that weren't autographed, and I almost bought one and cracked it out and got it autographed at the show. I saw one and I made an offer, and I fought the guy back and forth, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on you know. I was gonna get an autograph there because Pete Rose was there. I was just like, dude, that would be sick.
The truth is that the truth is that it's about what the autograph is on these days. It's not about who it is. It's about what the autograph is on.
Agreed, 100%.
Like I have a submission right now, and one of the cards autographs, and it's a 53 Red Man Bob Feller, and Bob Feller signed bazillion cards, but there's only like 10 Red Man Bob Fellers that have ever been signed.
Yep.
Right. So, whatever. I mean, Bob Feller's highly underrated, like Musial and like Frank Robinson. And we all know in the hobby how great these guys are. So, I mean, like that's kind of what it comes down to these days is what's the rarity of the card that the guy signed.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And the overall look of the card / autograph on it. I think there's a lot more than everyone went nuts and just started buying every autograph in town. And now you can get them all for back where they were before the pandemic. Like Bob Gibson, you can get any old Bob Gibson autograph for $35, $40 slapped up already. But you get it on the right card.
Not a game used card. A 65 Gibby is going to cost you a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy, Dylan.
Put it big.
Oh, and on the Yankees. Is that a oh yeah, that's a Benny too, right?
Yeah.
Remember you showing that? I was so jealous. I should have won a card. That's part of his I saw go to. Sometimes you just can't.
As I was saying,
money can't buy anything.
See, this one's graded by PSA, but they don't know anything. They only know how to put a number on the card. They don't know where the cards came from or what dates. They don't know any of that.
Yeah, I'm still not sold. Yeah, I mean, Bennies are epic. They're sick. But in the true heart, I'm still a Topps guy. I still have too many Topps cards I love. But I've definitely found that some, like a couple of Willie Mazes that I don't really care for too much. I'm like, I actually prefer to get the Venny in that because the image doesn't mean as much. And the overall look of it, it's more about the card being more rare. So I'm kind of like, for me, my collection, I'm trying to go after like cards like this where I don't really care it's a Topps card. It's the card is just special, and so I'll go for the rarity. Makes it fun.
Along those lines, like you're like I love 70s cards, but like you get a bench and it's a PSA 2 Venny, but there's literally like 5 or 6 higher. That's it. How many 77 benches are there? Like I have to buy a 9. 859 to get to the value of this. People don't know the value yet.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Guys my age and James' age, John and Rick, like eventually it's like, I'm kind of bored of collecting the same shit, honestly. Like I want to do something a little bit different. And I love Bench or I love Mays or I love Aaron or whatever. I'm trying to get to like, something a little bit rarer. And
well, that's why centering, George.
How about this, George?
For regular Topps, you know it too because I buy your cards.
74 Puerto Rican sticker set.
72.
72. My bad.
Yeah, these are the 70. These are the 74s.
Hmm.
I have a whole bunch of those, and that's it.
Look at all those boxes lined up. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
What do you want to see? I got it all.
I want to see another
every set. I'm trying to get every set.
George, you find me my 69 Topps bench yet? Centered?
No, I have one on my PC in a 7, but I don't have that one for you. I got a really nice O-Pee-Chee Clemente for sale.
Let's see this thing.
I think it's a 6.5.
Let's see it.
I got stuff that I got to
John might want to buy that.
Yeah,
here's some 67 Venezuelans. Dave Concepcion.
Nice.
That's a sick
And
one.
That's a
Louis
rookie.
Tion.
That's a rookie. Tion? Is that Tion?
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, Louis Tion.
That's Sammy's card right there. Sammy Thunder.
Yeah, there's a guy online. He's got a signed Venny Aparicio. It's like, man, I don't think you can, like, this is probably a pretty good deal. Of course, people are not beating down the door for Luis Aparicio, unfortunately, unless they're really die hard.
No, you know what? I mean, he's like, man, when I was growing up, everybody talked about Aparicio. I don't know what happened.
I never heard
It's
about
like,
him. as a
it's
kid.
like I woke
Never
up in
won.
an alternate universe, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah,
nobody
he was
wants-
always the best fielding. He and Mark Belanger were the best fielding shortstops, right?
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of guys like him that they were really. My cat is freaking out or something. That they were really, huge when we were growing up, and nobody ever talks about them. Their cards aren't that popular. They're great baseball players. I mean, Rogers Hornsby should sell for 3 times what he sells for. George Sisler too.
That's an 8. You like this one? Here's a 61 Aaron Leaders card with Mays and Matthews in a 9.
Oh, I won't like that one. You mean? Look at it. It's off centered. Thing's off.
I didn't like that.
George,
until you
put
cut it
that
out.
9. Hey, put that
I didn't
9 on
like
the
it
screen,
until I
John.
cut out the number.
Hey, John. Let's look at George's 9 off centered card. Oh, maybe it's not. Let me see.
Do you want the centering tool? Do you need a centering tool?
It looks off centered. Looks off centered.
It's off center, top to bottom.
Top
and
to
right
bottom
left.
and left to right.
It's only
Send
off
that-
center, top to bottom, and right
It's
to left.
all trash.
I'll send that thing back to the pond.
Here is one
Don't
from
get George triggered again.
Oh, that thing's sick.
that's from Prestige.
That's a sick
That's
card.
the
right there.
Sadahara Aaron
Wow.
card.
Hey George,
Yeah.
what's that sell for?
Yeah, I need that card.
I mean, I've got 1,500 on it, but I wouldn't really sell it.
Oh, I know there's a number. There's a number. What
I
else
really
you
don't
got
want to
there?
sell it.
What else you got there?
I'll give you $5 more than Dylan.
Don't be discouraged by me, George.
Huh?
Don't be discouraged by me, George. Let's see something else.
Hey, here's your
You got
guy. You got the Babe, right?
Oh, that's
61
sick.
clear and an 8.
Been looking at those a lot lately. Seen a lot
That
of
sells for
those stuff.
$675.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's
An 8,
It's an
huh?
8.
See, you
Dylan,
don't say
this
what
is Australia.
you don't say it's a great card. You say it's an 8. What does that
No,
mean?
it's a great card. It's
That's super
dude.
nice.
Okay, you want me to? I'll talk about the card.
That
I'll be like
is-
the
that
girls on
5.5.
the
It's an 8.
orange is so orange. I mean, what do you want? The centering. I can talk
Cat
about
fresh
it.
beauty. Okay. That 5.5 is gorgeous.
Centered maze
That's gorgeous.
5.5.
That's as good as they come right there.
Right, that's on.
That's as
Hey.
good as they come.
Here's a 4. It's on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me see this baby. Oh, another one I've been looking for a long
It's on.
time.
It's on.
Put that in my pile, bro. That one's
No,
mine.
no print marks.
That
no
one's
print
coming home to
marks.
me. You wanted 325 for that?
I got 325.
I'll give you
Oh,
325.
Dylan, look. This is in my case. This is what it says.
I'll give you 325 for that card,
You
George.
see that? You see what it says?
Yeah. I would like to show it all the way up. Go from there top. From there top. Let's see. I really will give you 325 for that.
Well, no,
Come
it's a
on.
beautiful card.
Yeah, that's it. I want that one. I really, truly want that one and that other one you got, George.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way, lunch pill guy, Del Ennis, 49 leaf, 28 home runs, 300 batting average.
Joe Ennis was a fantastic player.
He was.
Never
My
heard of him.
father-in-law.
Joe
I carry
Ennis.
this-
Well, Dylan, you'll appreciate this.
I've heard of him.
He didn't play for the Phillies his whole career, and didn't play that many years. But he held the Phillies home run record until Mike Schmidt broke it.
Wow, that's pretty sick. That's
Even
awesome.
though he didn't play for them his whole career.
Wow. That's even crazier.
My father-in-law.
He was one of those really good players that didn't have a super long career. Like if he played 24 years, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
because they reward longevity over talent.
No, this guy was better than Harold
beautiful.
Baines. He was better than Harold Baines.
Look at that.
John, you showed this card. Here's a beautiful Veni Roberto Clemente that's centered and gorgeous, but the back is destroyed.
Yeah.
Put that up there because that's a nice.
That's
card.
the first Clemente I ever got. So that's always very special.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's
destroyed. And the first one I got looked like it was in somebody's back pocket. That's not destroyed. I've seen way worse.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like blank.
Yeah.
No, the front is dead centered. Hank Aaron, Benny, 64. 1. This is a PSA 1.
Oh, I don't have a Hank Aaron Vanny.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You want to see that one, John, up close? Put that on the big screen.
No, I think I already spent too much money with Rick.
How much is that?
Well, I have $625 on it. It's expensive because it's Hank Aaron. I mean, shit.
Hey, Rick, after I cash in my Bitcoin,
George, the ultimate salesman. Yeah, I get
76 Tom Seaver and a 9.
Pass. Beautiful card.
73 Johnny Bench and an 8.
Pass. Mine looks better.
Nobody cares about your grade. George, get the hell out of here.
Dylan doesn't care about hurting people's feelings. He's just like, oh, that's shit.
Well, he's right now he's selling cards. You know, I look at him.
Hank Aaron is 7.5.
I already got it. Long. I love that card though.
Yeah, I have some others.
Beautiful.
It's so great.
George,
71
get readers.
George has like the nicest cards. He has one of the nicest eyes of cards I've ever seen in my life. So I can't make fun of him. I'm allowed to heckle him.
71 Clemente in a 5, dead centered.
Did you just buy that at an auction on eBay this week?
No.
Is that an O-Pee-Chee?
No, it's a regular one.
Because I bid on one that was dead centered like that in a 5, and I would have won it for a lot less, but it was worth a lot more like that.
Yeah, I just picked up an SGC 7.5.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful 5.
Nice. And this is interesting. You won't see this card very often, and I have 2 of them. It's a 61 Fleer Branch Rickey in a 9.
Yeah. Hey, George, I need that card for my set. I never picked one up.
You want to pay $650 for an off-center 9?
Oh hell no!
Kidding,
I don't want to pay for a 9.
I can't tell. I can't tell if it's center.
I've been trying to yell at James. Hey, I've been
card.
Dylan is
ruthless. Off center, bro. It is.
He's ruthless.
No, I didn't mean for the off center. I just mean I ain't paying that for that card.
Dylan, how many times? I'm going to ask you this. Be honest with us, please.
Be honest.
How many PSA orders have you ever submitted?
Probably in the 5 range.
And how many cards in those orders? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just.
Oh, I could care less. I'm being honest with you. I don't even know where you're going with this, so it doesn't matter. Let's just say
20,
60 to 80 max.
Okay. And you know they are tough.
But where are you going with it?
What I'm going with it is like they are tough, and unlike SGC, like the Branch Rickey, for example, they're grading this a 9 because the corners will poke your eye out, and the surface is awesome. Centering is off. You're right. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
Like SGC gives you a little love on the centering, and
absolutely. Dude, me and George, this is the same conversation we had at the National for 3 hours. It's the exact same conversation, and I have not changed my position. I think that 9, it's beautiful, it's magical, it's awesome, but $100 when you can get a 6
you
for
can't find another
30, 20 bucks. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like
the first thing that falls in price when there's a crash are those high grades, and the low grades will just hold their value if you pick the right ones. Where I have no worries. A big crash, I paid.
Here's your low grade. Here's your Ted Williams.
Yeah, send me that on the big screen.
Your PSA 4 Ted Williams.
You always have the nicest cards, George. Let's see it.
Right.
Hey, John, put them on the big screen. Me and George are going.
Okay, I'm done after this. I'm gonna retire.
I'd like to see that one in my pile as
well. Dylan, that's
no
nicely
snow.
centered.
I'd like to see that one in my pile, George.
That's dead on, man.
You put that one in my pile, George. I'm serious. Put that one in my pile.
It's a badass card.
Well, that's the thing, George. We agree.
I know.
You're showing these 4s that look better than, to me, a 9 that's off-centered. You basically proved my point when we talk, but yet we still have different opinions because you buy the high grades because they sell for more money because you're a dealer. But as a collector, would you seriously buy the high grades? Well, you do.
If I could buy that Ted, and James would tell you the same thing. If we could buy that Ted in a 7, we would.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's when you get a shit 7, right? It's not a good 7.
Exactly. A dead-looking centered 7, sharp.
If there's such a thing as a shit 7, then why are we so wrapped up in numbers?
James, is there such thing as a shit 7?
No, I know there is, but I'm saying, why are we so wrapped up in
numbers? And I agree with you.
If a shit 7 can exist.
Yeah. Well, and I agree, George. A really insane 7, a really insane 7, a really insane 9, really insane 8. They're beautiful. They're stunning. And they'll be worth money forever. I would never argue.
Here's a card. Here's a card that could get a lot of opinions. This is a which I think is better than his rookie, 59 Jim Brown, in a 7, but it's OC. OC cards need love too. But when you really
where's it OC? Hold on, let me put you on the main.
It's a beautiful card.
Beautiful.
There's nothing wrong with it other than the centering. It looks almost like an 8.5. It's just blue as the day is long. He looks as determined as he always looked.
Yep, it's a great
colors
card.
Are great. But
I have a shit ass Beckett 6.5.
Yeah, it's OC.
So that would be a 2 in PSA, right?
Yeah, they're gonna break it. They're gonna break the internet.
I have a
George, I'm about that. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I think sick.
If that was centered, it would be really nice. Yeah, if it was centered, it would be really nice.
Yeah, but because
you know what? If that was centered and in a PSA holder, you might get something for it.
What is that, Gibby?
8 OC. So
if you want to move the card, the best thing to do is give it to SGC, and maybe they put it in a 6.5 or 7 holder.
I'm never moving this card. This is mine. I'm keeping this forever. I think it's magical. I used to collect 8 OCs top to bottom. So I'm not anti-pack fresh cards when they.
No. I mean,
but I'll find the center one too.
People don't understand that this is the way the cards came. This is the way that we all collected them, whether Rick was buying or I was buying or James or you in the 90s or John. We open cards and this is the way they were. And it's you were just happy to get the card of the guy you loved. I mean, Rick might get a Chris Spocker and
I think people
John might get a
that.
Dave Parker and shit, you don't know. John, James gets a Don.
George, I just want to say this because this takes us back to the very beginning when somebody said I was throwing shade. That's exactly what I was saying. I'm saying that we weren't all that picky all those years, but now that there's YouTube and everybody's constantly nitpicking and Dylan's pushing centering, that all of a sudden
you're wrong. You're wrong, John.
No, people are way more picky. That's all I was saying.
No, we're not more picky. We were just as crazy back then. We were looking for dead sharp corners and dead, like George said. We were looking for.
Well, you're right about that. Corners were more important back then.
We were looking for a different look. We're not more picky now. We're a different picky. Where I say this pack fresh card.
I think we're more picky. I have to disagree with you.
I don't think so. I just think we're going to pick me. I'm picking a different way.
I think people are more picky now. I mean, when they don't consider a black and white card a card.
Well, that's a different, yeah. That's always been going on. I've never really cared for black and white cards, even though I had black and white photos on my wall growing up as a kid.
Well, if you get any, if you come across any E107, send them my way.
I will.
Yeah, or an E101 Matthewson, send it my way.
It's some I have to grade, and because they're centered, I decided I definitely got to grade these.
Yeah, that's a sick one.
Beauty.
Here's one that's nicely centered.
Still need that one too.
These are all centered.
Oh yeah, look at that one.
Why do you have to grade those beauties?
Because they're centered. They're beautiful. I want to see a nice, great. Look at how beautiful that's centered.
I'll buy them all raw. Save you
I buy them raw. When I see them raw and they're centered, oh my gosh, it's like just boom, boom. I see everything, bombs bursting in air.
I bet. I mean,
that's just like Dylan. When I see them, I don't care. I just want them.
Buy them.
They're like a unicorn.
They're unicorns. The centered tops cards are unicorns on certain cards. Not all. But they're unicorns.
George would have an erection if he sent all my raw cards in. I swear.
We were talking about this earlier. We're talking about, can you like caress me down or something? Come on.
If you came over here and you had a chance to grade some of these, you would literally be sexually aroused.
I would have to get some, we could you and I could get the Kurtz Card Care oil and a couple microfiber cloths.
Please don't mention that in the same breath as my name.
Is your name? Okay.
Dude,
I mean, I don't want anybody
Belichick
thinking I do Kurtz card jizz.
Belichick is getting so bummed that me and George talking about the same thing we talked about in front of him for like 3 hours at the National.
Rick, you're wondering why you're a misfit at this point, aren't you?
I just went to go get another beer. These guys 3 hours long sitting at the table.
Talking about erections. Their erection selection.
No. I'm in the cell tower business. I was talking about erections, towers.
Every time I see a cell tower, there's one about 2 miles away from us.
There's one man cheating
at
on
my house. I buy a mantle every month.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get going. I
think it's time to wrap this up.
That was epic. Thanks, guys.
You gonna join us next week, Dylan? That's it. Weekly spot.
All right, we'll see what happens. Might not be allowed back. Belichick might.
Hey, bring your special guest, Dylan, next time though. Then you can.
Hey, how many hours was
Yeah,
this?
bring Adam on. 3 hours.
Holy cow!
That was epic.
Dylan, what time is it there? You're early, right?
Yeah, it's only 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna do a video doing a Double D vintage grading reveal, drinking after this. So I can't wait. I'm gonna look at cards.
So you just
at least an hour video. What's that?
That's like 6 hours. 3 hours on here, a 3 hour video.
Yeah.
Don will watch the first 5 minutes.
Oh, he won't even watch that.
You got to give us a pop, though. You got to be. I just finished a live with the Misfits.
Absolutely.
If you don't know who they are, go check them out.
Listen to James.
Look at this guy.
And George.
Look at this guy stepping it up.
You got to piggyback over 6,000 subscribers.
I got a short stack here of 3 cards. There's
3 cards. Yep.
Really nice cards here. Jeez.
Yep. Give me a price. And James, the Roger Maris. Like to talk to you about
Thanks everybody for tuning in, and if you're still here, God bless you. Thanks for staying.
Yeah, Mookie is just killing it all day. The Card Story, all the guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and every week we appreciate it. And Hump Day is awesome, man. Wouldn't be the same without.
It's officially a thing.
All right, thanks everybody.
Happy humping.
Bye, guys. James, I'm sending you a text too. We're still live. We're still live.
Can you please
George,
cut
I just
John
sent you a
didn't
text.
cut it off. John is like,
I'm not gonna. We should just go for another hour.
No, I got your text.
Okay.
I have the cards pulled aside the very same.
We'll figure. And James, 57, Hank Aaron in the 61.
Oh, you want the Hank Aaron?
Yeah, I do.
I thought you wanted the Maris.
Well, I want the Hank too.
So how do we get out of this so we can do some?
Just push. I'll push it. I'll leave. Okay, later, guys.
There goes my text.